Press and enter and done. All the social media set up and software testing is complete. Electronic payment system's ready. It's all working, Julian. Where it go, buddy?
Fucking way, Bubs. You know what? You are the fucking man, buddy.
Oh, I know I'm the fucking man. I mean, I honestly don't think there's a snowball's chance of fucking hell this business is gonna work, but I did my best. Here we go.
Electricians, dishwashers, floor cleaners, lawyers, doctors, fucking politicians, CBC employees, principals, people that paint the lawns in the fucking roads. Get stoned, it'll be fun, get to work.
Say
Don't ever say it. Don't think it. Don't say it. Don't do nothing. Just stop everything and listen to Skinwalker Gang podcast on the fucking internet, dude. Welcome back to another fucking Skinwalker Gang ordeal. Another fucking ordeal. What's up out there and fucking... What's up, tubes? Got Jack here with me.
So
We got Polak.
Up, we're ghosting.
Albus here.
Greetings.
Senor, tell everyone your social security number.
All right, my social security number. This is a real social security number, mind you. It is 426
fuck it.
692333.
That's somebody's number. I don't know whose it is.
2333. I do. If you need me muted because I'm getting my food, I'll be back. I'll be back in a minute.
Oh,
that's a good idea.
Great.
Mine is 420.
Get the hell out of here, dude. What the fuck?
69.
Here we are once again. Where to even begin? I didn't even think about that. Henry Kissinger is dead. Someone give me an applause. Someone hit the applause. Hit the applause right now for me. God.
I don't know how to do it. How do you?
That's what we want. That's what the people need. We did it, folks. He's dead. Thanks to us, probably. Probably me.
Ab dance.
What's the deal with that? Now, this guy... okay, first of all, there's these elites living to 100 fucking years old. Why is that even a thing?
Because they get the best fucking medical bullshit possible.
Wasn't David Rockefeller? Didn't he have like 7 heart transplants? I believe it.
They cling to life.
That dude was
Refuse
scared
to
of where
let
he
go.
was going.
As they cling to everything. Possessions.
Now, the interesting thing is, we were talking about Kissinger in here. I don't remember when exactly, or if we were streaming or what. But someone brought up Kissinger, and he was talking about how he had regrets over the way he handled like foreign policy things. And immediately, my reaction to that was that it sounds like an old guy trying to drum up sympathy before he dies, so he doesn't die a war criminal. And then it's days later, and the dude's dead at 100.
Yep.
It almost seems like it's like planned. He's like, I'm going to hit 100, not get the new cow heart, and die.
The new clone.
I heard that he regretted that he didn't invade Saudi Arabia and just take their oil.
I don't know how endearing that is to anybody.
Like that was like one of his plans. I'd heard that he was just gonna. He was just like he like wrote out a plan. It's just like, okay, we're like basing our whole Middle East policy around like making this deal with Saudi Arabia and just fucking up all their enemies. What if we just like take them over and take all their shit? Why not? And we'll just justify it. So the same way we justify any other fucking bullshit. And we just have a war for oil, like literally just have a war for oil, take all the Saudi oil, say that it's because they're like fucking not feminist or whatever the fuck we go to war over. And just fucking take their shit and then spend it and give it to British Petroleum or whatever.
Guys, get this. I'm reading his Wikipedia article. He was born in Germany, but he moved away from Germany in 1938. He was 15 at the time. 15 before, like you remember when we were 15, what you were doing?
Yep.
Somebody, like some boomer, was tweeting that he was like in
At
the
that
battle
time, he
of the
left
Bulge.
Germany
He was
before
like
World War
15,
II
no
even
way.
started.
And like, George Soros was also he was also a Holocaust survivor.
Look, he's Jewish.
Well,
holy shit.
the Kissinger thing, and I didn't look into all of the specifics of this, but he's like tied pretty deeply to like the Operation Paperclip situation. And I'm not going to sit here and make any like direct things about it, but like he was in those schools of thought at that point. By the time Operation Paperclip came around, and there was like this race by the Allies and the Soviets to take up all of the capable scientists and everything that all the Germans who were Nazis, but they were still very useful. And he came around right after that. He only started to hit prominence in the mid-50s. So what characterized Henry Kissinger was how cold and calculated he was, essentially. His managerial style is the way they put it often. But when they say that, what they mean is that it was not concerned with morality. It was only concerned with getting as much power as possible for his team and playing the grand chess game.
The game at the rest.
Now,
by the way, have you seen when Klaus Schwab interviews Henry Kissinger?
Sounds disgusting.
It's bizarre. It's like Sauron interviewing Emperor Palpatine or something. They're
Well,
both like, I admire your work. I think we should
there was a book written
make the
by
world be like this.
There was a book written by one of his aides, who stated that like he would bring Kissinger like an itinerary, and he would have all this information and all these different specific things, you know, and tons of info, but then he would summarize each of those things. And he felt very honored that he was Kissinger's guy for this, that if Kissinger didn't want to read in depth on a situation, he would just read the aide's summary and decide from there. But one day he gave that list to Kissinger, and Kissinger said, it's very good, but we haven't told the president which way to go, which of these things to do. And that's when he realized that Kissinger was there to tell the president what to do. Not to help him, not to be the guy who gives him options and brings things up and maybe gives him a little wisdom. No, to have the entire foreign policy already fucking made up and give it to the president. That's more That's more power than the president has, really.
Yeah. For 50 fucking years or something.
Supposedly, he was doing that for fucking Obama, and he also was sort of advising Hillary. I mean, he had a blurb on Hillary's book. And like, yeah, he was supposed, like, if Hillary had won, he would have been the advisor to fucking Hillary. So he was just like the shadow government, basically.
Yeah, and I mean, by that time, he was already an institution. Like I said, he was prominent by the mid-50s, and he was doing governmental things with high clearance, important things. But then it wasn't until the Nixon presidency where he became Nixon's guy, the guy. And at that point going forward, he was the foreign policy guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Horrifying to think how long these people are around, how old they are, still making decisions.
Yeah, I mean the big thing with you know, bring it into modern shit. I mean, I'm not gonna say this dude didn't fucking die yesterday or whatever, but like Trump, you know, the deep state, you know, like that was one of the realest things he talked about, and of course he is also completely subjected to the deep state. You know, it's just like nobody's gonna fucking get rid of that, you know, from within. There's no way to like fix that from the inside. But yeah, any president is basically just kind of subjected to this kind of global power structure, and what its dictates are ultimately going to be more important than whatever the fuck, you know, whatever got you elected.
So one thing I've heard, and this goes back to Bill Cooper and a lot of other sources, and that the early days of the alien situation, when there were think tanks created just to deal with these things that were classified to even the president. One of the first guys to head off these things, like when they talk about Magic 12, things like that, the Jason Society, one of the first guys was Nelson Rockefeller. So allegedly, Kissinger was basically a Nelson Rockefeller guy, and he was helping out a lot in that capacity regarding aliens, allegedly. And then when Nelson Rockefeller lost the nomination to Nixon, Rockefeller essentially groomed Kissinger to become Nixon's top guy. And that's basically how he got the position he did. Supposedly, specifically because a lot of this alien stuff that originated with Nelson Rockefeller. People talk about how he was in that time period in the mid-50s when all of this shit was supposedly happening. His wife and family and friends talk about how he would leave for work early in the morning. He'd come home late. He wouldn't speak to anyone. He wouldn't answer anyone when they talked to him. He'd go right to his room, stay up all night, and then go back to work early in the morning. And I believe it. These guys are obsessive about power, no matter how shady, whether it's aliens, whether it's Russia, no matter what it is. These people obsess about this stuff, and that's why they're in the positions they are.
They work really hard. They do. That's the one thing you can't critique them for.
Yes, they were this obsession, a sick obsession towards work, essentially.
Do you think the aliens had anything to do with his long lifespan?
I don't. 100's not that
what do you think
old at the end of the day.
I think it smelled like sulfur.
Piss and mothballs, which some people say smells like sulfur.
All right, listen to this. Kissinger was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize on December the 10th, 1973, for ending the war and restoring peace in Vietnam. He fixed it.
He did.
We fixed what was never broken in the first place. Finally.
Yeah.
One of the great atrocities he committed was like fucking up Cambodia, as justifying that as like part of the Vietnam War. and then basically leading to like one of the big, like really like if you look at like the devastation of a country, that is like one of the worst genocides ever. This is what happened to Cambodia with Pol Pot.
And I mean,
he was completely.
This is the characterization of his reign: is that okay? Who cares? The Soviets lost in it. They lost whatever the struggle they were trying to get out of it, you know. And and what is that worth at this point?
Like Vietnam,
no.
But like Pol Pot fought against the Vietnamese, even though they're both communist. Whatever the fuck Pol Pot.
Yeah, because Cambodians like historically hate the Vietnamese, so there's like a bunch of bad blood there, and that's why you get the fucking thing happening.
And Pol Pot seemed to have been like some kind of a U.S. asset, even though all he really wanted to do was just like kill everyone in his country. And whoever didn't die, he like made work in
only if they wore glasses. If they wore glasses, they deserve to die.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Like,
that part makes sense. Let's be real.
Reminded me of like Father.
No offense to you. No offense to you.
Also,
I'm the first
being
one to
literate was also a reason to be killed.
Like we're dangerous. Like,
dude, what I actually threw out the glasses I'm supposed to be wearing when I found out Pol Pot wasn't about that.
Brad, are you aware that we are streaming?
Yes, that's why my webcam isn't on.
Amazing.
Amazing.
How about you, Brad? Do you have any new business, new paranormal business for the people?
Hold on one second.
Make some shit up.
One memento por favor.
We've got to wait.
Even if it's a good
clip of Kissinger just talking.
Hold up, Jack. What's up?
Have you guys seen? Has everybody seen Dr. Strangelove?
Yeah.
Yes.
I should watch it again. It's been a long time.
I think it's pretty clearly based on Kissinger.
He is supposed to be like Operation Paperclip guy. He's the Nazi that was taken over. You definitely say that too.
That's not allowed on YouTube. I got a thing there. That's not allowed on here. You know what?
You got a merit badge or something up there?
There we go.
You can't see it now. Hey. Cheers.
He's got
salute.
He's even got the Irish colors. It's even Irish colored.
Here we say cloaca. We didn't even say cloaca.
Hey, cloaca.
Cloaca.
It means I got a bowl. It means you have to take a shit.
Where are
we? Overload.
Try to eat my Wendy's.
In that movie, the reason why the world ends is because this one general thinks that the water is being manipulated through fluoride that's coming from the Russians. There's a lot of elements. I mean, just Kubrick in general, like Kubrick, all of his movies put together, especially Eyes Wide Shut and the fucking Clockwork Orange and Dr. Strangelove, sort of have like these thematic kind of paranoid themes that run through all of them, I think. About like a dystopian government, this sort of like apocalypse agenda, and all this stuff about kids and the elites. And
don't forget about The Shining.
The Shining too. Yeah, I don't want to make it too complicated. 2001: A Space Odyssey. I would say all of them. I would say all these movies together, and fucking Full Metal Jacket too.
Propaganda film.
Sorry.
2001: Space Odyssey is literally like a straight up mystic Masonic propaganda film, basically.
Yeah,
it was according to Bill Cooper.
And I believe him. I'm like 100% on that. I watched it, and it's like, yeah, this is exactly what he's fucking describing.
I mean, and it I don't know. We can do a whole stream about that because, like, I think the conspiracy video, like Jay Dyer and like shit like that. I mean, no, I think Bill Cooper has actually a pretty interesting take on it. But a lot of the like, if you go on YouTube and you type in Eyes Wide Shut, you're going to find a bunch of dumbass conspiracy theory videos about it. But I think there is, especially when like you consider like the Georgia cover-up. Like, if you look into the Georgia cover-up now, it's pretty hard to find any information on it because Google has just kind of like rendered that one of the things that we just are going to forget now. The same way that, like, in China, if you try to look up the fucking Tiananmen Square...
Well, I'll be honest, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. I have forgotten.
The Georgia cover-up?
Yeah.
Georgia cover-up was, it was this guy named Larry King, a black guy, who was, I think he was an insurance guy or something. He ran a huge scam he got busted for in Georgia, but he was connected to these schools called Boys Town. And it was then, rumored that there was all this pedophilia going on in Boys Town. And then this whole scandal kind of blows up that all these kids are getting molested. They're getting molested by like people within, hypothetically, in theory, not, but like, yeah, the Bush administration basically. And or I guess it's Reagan and Bush administrations. And that, there's these pedophiles from DC who are flying kids up and down the East Coast to, have sex with them.
Well, it goes back to those. There's newspaper headlines you can find if you look up like call boys in Bush White House.
Right.
So there were like weird male prostitutes and stuff who were on like the logs at the White House.
Yeah. So that's all going on, allegedly, hypothetically, in theory. And they basically there's a couple witnesses that there's a whole documentary about it that I think was like on some major like channels and shit. These kids, they witnessed it. It happened to them. They claimed to testify against it, and they just get murdered. A bunch of people just get murdered. And it was like an elected official in I want to say Nebraska.
Yeah, something like
John
that.
DeCamp. John DeCamp, he came forward about all this shit, and he wrote a book called The Georgia Cover-Up. And you can find that book if you Google his name, you'll find it. But like if you just Google Georgia Cover-Up, like nothing like what you find is a couple pedophiles who had sex with the kid they adopted in Georgia, a couple gay pedophiles. But you don't find all this other stuff I'm talking. That was like 5 years ago. You don't find all the stuff I'm talking about. It's like something that is memory hold to a certain degree. Yeah. And that's what Eyes Wide Shut is directly referencing that. It's around that time. It's a little bit later. It's in 2000 that movie comes out. But you have this whole thing of this costume shop that is connected to these Illuminati rituals that are happening in the movie. And the guy who runs the costume shop, he's selling his daughter to these Chinese men who are cross-dressers. And the daughter tries to seduce Tom Cruise, and then you find out the daughter's like 15, and then he tries to sell his daughter to him at the end of the movie. All of that stuff is referenced to the Georgia Cover-Up. Like all of this, like Kubrick was aware of all this stuff going on, and this was like conspiracy lore of that time. And now it's like not. Now it's like now we have Pizzagate and shit like that. Like we don't have like Georgia Cover-Up thing.
Honestly. All the conspiracies we have now are the same conspiracies we had then, just they're hyper politicized for some stupid fucking point that doesn't benefit anybody except the grifter.
Turn into QAnon and then have a January 6th event and then be able to control the whole
society. Well, exactly. You get two things. You get the total demonization of the people who are propagating it. And you get all these reasons to shut down everybody who would be someone who would argue against any of this stuff.
Completely.
Yeah, and then you also get a whole cottage industry of like sanctioned grifters to make a bunch of money for the gay system by propagating it.
Yeah. Have you heard about all the hidden messages in The Shining about that the moon landing was fake?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pull up my screen just quickly.
Okay.
I'll show you some of them.
Yeah, that 237 is pretty interesting.
This is obviously the Apollo rocket. This is supposedly where he worked. I don't get this one really, but this is what the astronauts were supposedly eating.
Tang, yeah, they were.
And this pattern looks just like the launch pad. And this is all over the movie.
Yeah, some of this is a little schizo for me, but not all of it.
Yeah, but I'm much more interested in this running theme through Eyes Wide Shut, to some degree, basically of this like kind of demonic force that's like possessing people to be predatory and like do all this. Like
here's the one issue I have, and while we're still on these images, the issue I have is like, go back to that first few images that you were showing. Yeah. So now if you go back to, so there's Tang in the corner and on the shelf. The astronauts were eating Tang in space. But then I've also heard the theory that The Shining is a commentary on the genocide of Native Americans. What else is on that shelf? We got the Calumet baking powder or whatever with the Native American on it. So I don't know if I accept that one is valid, then I have to like give validity to the other. I'd rather just not give validity to any of this for now.
But eventually,
that's
if there's
where,
too many coincidences, it points to something.
Yeah.
And some of
but
the
I didn't just make up the Native American genocide one. I didn't make that up. People have made that same argument all through the movie.
Have you seen Room 237?
What's that referencing?
Room 237 makes the case. Look, it's a document. There's a documentary about The Shining called Room 237. It mentions all the stuff you're talking about. It talks about the NASA thing.
Where he worked.
It talks about the weird pedophile stuff, kind of. It addresses that a little bit. And it talks about this whole idea of the Native American genocide and the fact that, like, there's, like, a German typewriter in one scene and then it turns into, it changes colors randomly. But all these little weird things that happen throughout that movie that make the movie feel haunted.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I don't think we should read too much into all of them. All of them are kind of valid, but it's also like Kubrick is kind of just fucking with you.
Yeah.
But I think that there is a thing he is talking about through all of his movies that has to do with this kind of demonic force possessing people and making them so like the whole like 2001: A Space Odyssey is basically this like demonic alien thing that's trying to get us to evolve, and then I think in the novel it like kills everyone on Earth eventually. In the movie it doesn't do that. In the movie you don't really see what it does, but he gets to this being at the end of his Odyssey, and it basically is evolving him, and then it turns him into one of them or whatever. And The Shining, it's this like unknown being that's making people kill in the hotel. And in Eyes Wide Shut, it's like all these people are doing these rituals, all the elites are doing these rituals to appease some kind of force, and that's the reason why they keep killing and also doing these like orgies, and theoretically why they're like molesting children also, maybe there's just he doesn't really say what he doesn't communicate the whole thing.
I get the sense from Kubrick that he has enough stature in the industry to be able to comment on these things that he's probably seen or actually heard firsthand accounts of, as long as he doesn't cross any lines and say anything definitive. We don't want any definitive statements.
Right.
So he's kind of like, he's telling the truth about these things in a way that you're always left still in the dark at the end of it, which is his art form.
Right.
So
I agree, because it's like people talk about Eyes Wide Shut as though it like gives it all away, and it's like, no, this is basically just the shit we're talking about, and it's like not, it doesn't really tell you anything beyond.
Sometimes I feel like
if you know what happened in Epstein, you with Epstein, you don't really like, it doesn't tell you anything new. What were you gonna say?
Sometimes I feel like the point to all of this is really to confuse me.
Yes,
makes me go insane.
But that is the end of Eyes Wide Shut. At the end of Eyes Wide Shut, they basically, the Illuminati or whatever, are extremely merciful to Tom Cruise, and they just let him go about his day. And at the end of the thing, you're not sure if they are just like a normal organization, they're not going to hurt anybody, and they're just kind of trying to like teach him a little bit of a lesson, or if he actually could have been fucking killed. Like, you don't know. You have no idea.
Or it could be this is the initiation.
Yeah. Yes.
He's an elite doctor, and he's like,
what is that?
One of them.
What's that, senor?
Isn't that kind of like Alex Jones though? Like he came in on their shit at the Bohemian Grove, and like they didn't outright like fucking murder him or like fucking extraordinarily render him or anything like that. But over time, over 20 years, they were able to find something to where he's not unpersoned or anything, but like as far as like he's basically a legend almost, like a myth.
Well, I do think at one point in Alex's career, he was so successful from like a grassroots effort that they knew that they couldn't do anything to him without making it so obvious, without making him a martyr, without starting a movement. So at the end of the day, they slowly bleed him dry while offering him, here, you can just be a fucking grifter, a shitty little grifter, and make a shitty little bit of money and get by. So that's the path he took after getting his shit kicked in for so goddamn long.
He owes those people $2 billion.
It is true.
Also, I feel like his role kinda in a way is to discredit the theories that he's putting forth.
That's also another reason I think he
insane.
got so far, is because people looking at him from the outside were like, this guy's just a fucking lunatic. Nobody will ever take him seriously. And then while only few people were really taking him seriously, everyone was watching him. And at that point, the few people taking him seriously were getting bigger and bigger just because he had a billion eyes on him.
And I know I saw a thing where to his own audience, he will like put forth a theory and explain his thought process, and then he goes on the news just screaming.
Yeah. Any press is good press. Any press is good press, I think, is where he's at there.
I also just think there's no coherent like anti-conspiracy political movement that can actually pose a threat. Like if you look historically, there was like the anti-Masonic Party and stuff like that, and like it's like even if you do, even that wasn't even really a threat. And it's like in our current state of things, it's so much easier to use paranoid people and just tell them that like this person, AOC or whoever the fuck, that's the fucking Illuminati, go kill her or whatever.
That's the thing. It's a desperation.
It's so much easier to do that than it is to actually get a bunch of people together and do anything about any of these people in any kind of a way that can actually help anyone. Like it's like it's so much awareness. Like there's so many stupid theories about this. Like the whole idea of what is it called, the Great Revelation or whatever, the Great Revelation of the method, that they just want you to know this stuff because they're like fucking with you. No, they want you to know this stuff because you're more useful to them if you know this stuff than you are harmful to them if you know that. Like there's so little you can do about it by knowing it, and there's so much they can do to you if you know about it, that it's like it's actually useful. Like not to have everyone know about it, but to have like a certain amount of the population be paranoid enough that they can get them to January 6th or whatever.
Yakov, end the stream.
What?
Talking about it helps them. That's what I want.
Yeah, they're playing on people's desperation, their need for a daddy figure. And at the end of the day, it's like, at first, they didn't want to give a pulpit for these sorts of ideas. But then when they realized that there's no fighting this, especially as people grow more and more dissatisfied with the system, they have to create the pulpit. And they have to control the pulpit. And then when you realize how scared and desperate these fucking people are, you can give them any fucking solution you want. And they will go with it. You might have to give them 100 different conflicting solutions, and they'll all run with it. Yeah. And at the end of the day, the problem is that it all winds up boiling down to petty politics for everybody. And that's exactly where they want it. That shit is profitable.
And it's so simple.
Well, I would see it as like the conspiracy narrative, the conspiracy theory narrative, like Alex Jones and shit like that. It's all like we gotta get America together. We got America. We're gonna fight against the tyrants and the devils and the it's this good versus evil narrative. And there's like no way for good to win. And there's definitely not enough good people. And like even if there are that many good people, you're just by being an American citizen or whatever, you're spending 90% of your time serving evil and 10% of your time serving good. So even if you're trying to do the right thing or whatever, you're still ultimately going to be part of the system. There's no way to fight. But like their fight is order versus chaos, and chaos is always going to beat order. Like they're on the side of order. They're trying to control this shit, and they're always going to lose that fight. But they're also like the conspiracy theory is framing it as though it's going to be like we're going to triumph. We're on the side of Jesus and all this shit, and we're just going to. That's also doomed to failure. What's going to end up winning is chaos. Well, and that's both
the key is
and the conspiracies losing.
That the measure of the swing to the right is the same as the measure of the swing to the left. Mm-hmm. It's not, and it like. You can't say it's not a struggle, because on one level it very much is a struggle, but on the other level it's like you are stuck in the Kali Yuga, in the most evil time possible. Like that's really where you are, and like all you can do is learn to maneuver through it. And there is the assurance that for as bad as things are now, they have to get just as good in the future. And you have to be able to find some solace in that. And that's what like all of, the Christian answer where it's like Jesus is going to come back and we're going to fight the Illuminati and we're going to win. And like once again, in a sense that is true, but you don't get to have that fight right now, tomorrow, You know, like
it's
it
not
is
going to be the army of God.
it is
like,
generations having this fight, essentially.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and the Kali Yuga also is this age of pure chaos, and I think like that they would like to get out of the Kali Yuga. Also, they would like to get to the age where they can this is like not a winning situation for like anyone really. It's just like not for the human race, and it's like they want this kind. They want their answer to make sense, and Alex Jones wants his answer to make sense. And it's like really, it's like there's no answer. It's like there's just nonsense.
No, that's why really the conflict is like real people trying to create some sense of community, and there's infinite ways to do that. I can't identify them all, but that's what strong leaders and real good people are trying to do is emphasize community. Whereas clearly the people who are running the world, community is the opposite of what they want. You start like seeing yourself in your neighbor, like they're fucked.
Yeah, that's bad.
Definitely.
Bad.
So I want to mention right now, Scar has tipped $1. Love you fellas. Keep streaming every week. That's what we love to hear, dude. That's what we enjoy here.
Scar is so nice.
We got Jugs in the chat asking if that's Jerry. That's not Jerry. It's Polak. Sounds kind of like Jerry. It's weird.
We're different men.
Worried about Jerry. That's crazy. That's like a throwback. Holy shit.
Oh, dude. Old school homies. Jugs been around, yo. She's been around. Sped in the chat. More like Henry kissing guys. Got him. We got Todd from work in the chat. Kubrick is heckin' valid. Nah, they're Jays. They're Zionists and they're Jays. Uber Gamer in the chat. He said that. He's right. They're Zionists. They're Jays. It's true. Make of it what you will.
Well, if you want to use that against Kubrick, why did he make Eyes Wide Shut? You know,
he
made Eyes Wide Shut. I mean, if we're talking about anti-Semitism, he made Eyes Wide Shut in the Rothschild castle.
That's the thing. When we're talking about the Jays, right? Like,
but we're not even.
It's not.
I don't think we are.
But like,
that simple,
it's not. Dog, listen. This is not about who's Jewish and who's not. It's fucking not about that. It is who in elite positions is exercising fucking occult, you know, they're occult tendrils reaching out into the world, try to get their influence out there. And the fact of the matter is, the admission of what's going on is occult. It is an attempt to lift the karma from them for committing these acts and place them on you for accepting these acts. And that's what it is. When you look at you can look at like Kabbalah and suddenly realize how much like Eastern mysticism is actually in there. And like, is it just called? I don't know, man. It seems like what we're dealing with is far more occult than just saying that there's like a single religious group. But I don't know.
Exactly, because it's not about like what group those people come from. And they're barely even a group. They're only a group because of what they do to us. Like, half of them barely coordinate with each other. They're all making their own power plays because they're fucking evil, and sometimes they'll, you know, coordinate with each other, but they're not like, it's not like the cabal isn't a tight-knit cabal. It's a group of people who all have their own fucking agendas trying to, you know, commit evil on us.
That's true. I mean, there's a lot of evil going around. There's a lot of it. At the end of the day, I think one mistake people make here is that they take this shit personally, as slights against them personally. Well, guess what? When they hate you, you don't have to take it personally. It's not personal. You just don't put your money in their pockets. That's why they hate you. It's like not even personal. Second of all, there's not a single person, whether Jewish, whether trans, whether anything. There's never a single person in a position who's of power who is like, this is what we have to give to the people. This is what we have to put on them. It is literally the network of parasitic capitalism merged with the state or something. It's very complex at this point, but it is literally like this network that is deciding how much value you have to its system while it is declining rapidly.
Yeah.
This system runs itself. They've decided who's a good consumer, and that's why when they put all this diversity into media, people ask, who asked for this? Who wants this? Who's watching it? Well, fucking nobody. But over long periods of time, by producing all of this shit, they are going to condition the culture to be more consumerist at the end of the day, so they can keep making money as long as possible.
I've actually been thinking about this. I have an idea cooking in my mind.
Oh, let
me know what you think.
Let it cook.
Like, some people think it's a grand conspiracy, and we have said that a couple of times, they are doing what they are planning to do and such. But what if things are just manifesting the way they do because of all the evil in the world and the all bad karma? Like when you play a song backwards and you can hear a satanic message. Even if nobody planned to put that in there, it's still there. Or is it a coincidence? Is it just how it manifests? Is this how our reality works?
I think if we're talking about this, what it boils down to is individual responsibility. Now, I was talking about how the elite will put things into media so that you can consent to them. They can transfer their karma, this occult energy, whatever. But the true fact is that we do consent to it every single day that we sit here and watch it and talk about it and do nothing about it. On some level. Yeah. Now, that's not to put blame out there. It's not what that's about. The point is, if we all accepted that, it would just end. Right? And it's not, this isn't reasonable. This isn't feasible. This isn't something I think we can accomplish. But like, I feel like that's a really strong starting point to know how to change your own life and perspective.
But you also believe we don't have free will.
No, but we should live every day acting as if we did.
What can we do about it, though? Obviously, acting, though,
I think it is obvious, practically speaking, how your habits can adjust your life and make your life superior. Half the time that you create these habits, you don't even do them on purpose. If they're bad habits, you certainly don't. So I do think I don't think it hurts to practically look at it as free will. I don't think that's a bad thing. But at the end of the day, I do think we are on our divine path, inspired by God himself. And there's really no changing that. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
So
certain steps.
How I want to sort of riff off of what Al was saying. That I think that there is, and you know, I'm stealing this from a lot of things, but basically, I think that our perception as humans is to see a linear timeline, but the reality is that there's flows going from the future towards us, and a lot of the stuff that we're talking about with the elites is people who have access to that kind of a psychic power, the ability to see what's coming from the future towards them, which can just be like being an oracle, like reading tarot cards.
Yeah, I think that can be anything from intuition to a literal AI program at this point, and all of it.
But like people see a movie and they're like, oh, this movie predicted this. Oh, this movie has this occult shit. And no, the movie literally is just like somebody who is able to see the future is writing that movie, or is working on that, or whatever, slip something in there that then predicted something that then happened. And so like a lot of this is not planned. A lot of this is chaos, but it's chaos on our level, and it made sense in the future, and it will make sense in the future where it's coming from.
We're riding a roller coaster, and now we're going in an evil loop.
AI itself is an attempt to replicate that abstract way the mind works, is an imperfect way. So when you see AI predicting shit like that, it is very much similar.
And I think that the will, the true will that Crowley talked about is beyond us, is outside of us. And if we all meaning if our will or true will was to undo this, then it would be undone. But but our true will isn't to undo this. Our true will is in line with this happening, and so it will happen. And so it's basically we're kind of in a passive role of waiting for the future to come at us. And I think there is some degree of agency, some degree of free will for each of us to do something about that. But it's like an ant against a god, basically. It's like each one of us has like a little bit of influence on it.
I would also like to add this to this whole thing is like when I sit here and I'm talking about like how people can improve their lives and shit. One thing, like I do realize that like I am basically saying that stuff for myself to reinforce my thoughts. And, you know, it benefits me to be able to bounce that off other people and to like have that encouraged and that to like change me. But it's like, what do you get for sitting here and like saying your take on it? You get nothing, right? Like there's nothing. So like it is for you, but and yet you still want to do it. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like when we look at it that way, it's not like I'm sitting here. And yeah, on one level I am, on the very literal level, I'm sitting here and telling you how you could think to help improve this. But more importantly, I am reinforcing my own thoughts. And doing so, you know, kind of free of active will. There's will there, but it's like, this is what I do automatically. And this is the reinforcement and encouragement that I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just winds up being the path that happens to be gradually encouraging more and more, you know.
Sound like a Buddhist.
Yeah.
What do you mean by will? What do you mean by this I?
Yeah.
How can I have free will if there is no self?
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah. You told me a while back, you know, you told me that I overthink things, you know, and I think that you're right. That like, you know, I think that trying to plan this shit, it doesn't make sense to try to plan. We have to just keep doing what we're doing. And everything, if time is actually happening in reverse, if the future is coming at us and not us coming at the, I mean, and not to say that both are happening. We're coming towards the future. Future is coming towards us, but ultimately we're going to understand it retroactively. So we have to act improvisationally and not know what we're doing in order to actually do the true will.
No, now we're back to the Buddhist, the Taoist, the Hindu ideas of like doing your duty without seeing yourself as the individual or expecting anything as a result of the action. And I do think that's the place that is key. We can put this shit into words forever, and we can, the more words we say, the more we'll trip and fall. But it
can't really be put into words.
Exactly.
Like we can't really grasp it.
Exactly.
Words are like throwing a net on a river and saying this square is this thing, and but everything is moving around all the time.
Oh, I get that.
The definition changed meaning.
Who would pontificate?
We like to throw
what we can do
and try to fucking grid out something that doesn't.
As above,
I mean, look at our maps. Our maps are flat planes of a fucking sphere. I mean, if you believe in all that shit, I don't know.
Who knows?
Sometimes.
I believe in cube Earth personally.
Cube Earth.
You believe in hollow Earth and Earth where the dinosaurs roam.
Dinosaur.
So Youper in the chat says, I went to pick up my snowblower yesterday, and the boomer there was bitching about how there was a transmission person. A transmission person?
That's awesome.
On his pack of Skittles. Dude was pissed. Todd from Work says, we're not in this simulation to change the people in charge. We're here to make ourselves better and realize we're in a simulation. That's, yeah.
We can forgive those who trespass against us.
I hate calling it a simulation, but I do think there is validity to that. I just don't like taking like these concepts and making them just like video games. It's Fallout. This is literally Genji.
It's a simulation of each of our individual minds that then forms into.
It's not a simulation. What's simulating it? We can't grasp it with words.
Well, I mean, we can say God and leave it at that, but yeah.
I thought it was more like the Elder Scrolls, but okay.
I feel like talking about these things, it's very easy to sound either completely mad or like you have no clue what you're talking about.
That's church. That's church, and that's what we're holding.
I feel that we are trying to grasp something.
Oh yeah. So Brona and the Chad Barian just popped an edible. Let's make this a trip, lads. We're gonna have to do that. Todd from Work says, when you play Elvis songs backwards, he talks about loving his mother.
That's awesome.
I feel like that's true. Now we gotta find that shit. That's funny.
Question about your well-being right now.
Christian Presley?
Are you on that Daffy Duck right now?
Are you on that IBM supercomputer?
You on that quantum computer right now, brother?
Yeah, you on that quantum computer.
So let's real quick, let's get the fucking Chris Chan update in here. So
Yeah.
Chris Chan, the situation seems to be pretty figured out now. He's doing these boring ass live streams where he just ignores super chats. He's selling rocks from the driveway at Branchland Court. It seems like Caden, who is the head of Prater, who are like the young college businessmen who are trying to make money off of him. It seems like he bought a house in Lynchburg, I want to say, which is like outside of Chris Chan's area, and it seems like he and Chris are living there, so that they can full time make Chris Chan content.
So that's how he's away from Barb.
So yeah, it seems like that is what's happening. This Flutter person, the girl he was with, is probably involved. Right now, Prater is making so much goddamn bank off of this whole thing. It's not really sustainable at this rate. Or in Chris's mentality. Yeah, but it is boring as fuck. They found, here's one funny thing though. They found that Caden had been arrested for growing shrooms at like an old residence. He has like a rap sheet for that. So a lot of people are thinking that he bought this house to not only house Chris Chan, but also a bunch of fungus.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He's gonna create the dimensional merge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we're going now.
On some shrooms and making content. Like he's like, I gotta turn on my camera. He turns on the camera and we see whatever he's seeing.
These colors are making me thirsty.
By the way, I just want to reiterate that I think Chris Chan's right. Dimensional merge is real.
It's on. It's on, baby.
Is real.
All the IP is real. It's all invading our reality.
Like, do you think
he's got to go
motherfucker is going to save us? That's the question.
Oh, at this point, dude, Trump almost did. So
yeah, he's a daughter fucker.
Yeah, it's same thing.
All kinds of times. Saved us in different ways, all kinds of times. Probably not the Earth, but maybe a couple countries.
Oh God, dude, we're in such a sad state of affairs. I just want to cry. I'll laugh instead. I won't bore you with my tears.
4 more years. 4 more years of Trump.
It's a scary
dude.
thought.
Here, and I will say this now. Let's have this conversation right now and get it the fuck out of the way. The only way Trump has a chance of winning this election is if they put him in jail, in which case he is a fucking shoo-in.
I hope they do.
Me too.
I hope they do, yeah.
I'm not saying it's not a prediction that it's going to happen. I don't think they're that stupid to put him in jail because he would win. But if he does go to jail, he's going to win that motherfucker because there's no energy otherwise. There's no energy right now. But if you put him in jail, so there's going to you gotta get Trump out of prison. Gotta get him out.
He's such a great character. He must be in another season.
So awesome.
White lung. Fucking what is it called? Like non-COVID, but COVID is spreading right now in America.
Oh yeah, fuck man.
So that's the wild card, bro. Like I don't know. Like it depends on how much it spreads. Depends on what the backlash is to it, but it's going to be like the fucking COVID election all over.
I'm calling this fake shit.
He just says like he's against vaccines. He's pretty much. I think he can pretty much win over not just fucking Republicans. He can win over liberals.
Yeah.
Who don't want to go back to like all the COVID mandates.
That's possible. I do not think we're going that route right now. And to be honest, dude, every couple weeks there's like a new story about the new Chinese flu that fucking leaked that like I'm tempted to read on the stream and I'm like, nah, that ain't shit gonna happen. It never fucking does. So I'm gonna go with that for now.
If you like super,
it's always like new pangolin.
Yeah, well, the last one I heard was that there's a virus that causes cancer, and that's what the and then everybody who was working at this Chinese lab all got cancer, and now it's spreading.
Isn't it possible though that the cancer came from some equipment at the fucking Chinese lab because they're not?
Yeah, they're like leaking radiation.
I believe these motherfuckers all fucking got cancer from doing some shady shit with viruses or whatever. But like whether or not it's going to turn into like, you know, a threat that like makes the whole population fucking run away in terror and never climb inside their house and never leave. I don't know.
If we have a scare right now, every lib is going to be wearing a fucking mask, and everyone who doesn't want to do that is going to be like, "Fuck this," and that's basically going to be a political party of like the "fuck this" party, and Trump can ride that wave. I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen, but it's like that is a wild card that any politician can exploit, and that Biden will ham fist. He'll fuck that up like so hard if he's the only alternative. So it's like I don't know. I could just see it happening that way.
And
We
am
all
I
live in a
glad
world
that I'm in
where there's
Sweden now?
confirmation that
We
nations
never did any masking.
are fucking genetically engineering.
That's
viruses.
awesome, dude. That's so based.
That is
We've
based.
never lived in a
Sweden's
world
got
where
the-
Hold on,
Yeah,
Senor, your
yeah.
volume is way lower. You gotta hold up. Say it.
Oh shit! Is this better? Is that better?
Not really,
Yeah.
but maybe a
bit,
little.
little bit.
I said we now
Yeah, it's
live in a
good.
world where we have
Men sell
confirmation.
propane.
Like, it's not just conspiracy theory; it is fucking fact that superpowers are genetically engineering viruses. For what reason? What reason are they genetically engineering the viruses? There's no explanation of that beyond what we obviously know.
I don't think that's true.
Wow. The
I don't think that's true.
one thing you can basically assume with these people is that they are researching shit that has no fucking practical benefit just out of their fucking hubris.
Yeah, just to get money, just to
Yeah.
get the fucking funding for
Some
it.
theoretical money that they could possibly get 10 years down the line. Yeah.
Yeah, grants are crazy, brother. You know, you can get it beforehand. You just got to
Yeah.
put up a good enough case.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even believe in viruses. What do you think about that?
Little tiny
A
demons
whole-
that get in your body.
Whole big ass
Yeah,
books
yeah.
about it. No, it's just like the thing that they identify and point at and say that's a virus is basically just the waste product of the cells
Well, as I
repairing
understand
and
it,
doing shit. So it's like if you were a giant looking down on Earth, and then you wonder why do buildings get set on fire, and then all the firemen and the fire trucks because they are around that, so they must be causing it. But they have it backwards.
Brother, I have no fucking clue what you're saying.
Well, as I understand it, the
I get that, I
vaccine
get
wasn't really a vaccine. It was a fucking experimental gene therapy, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
that
what they
was,
say.
you're not supposed to say that,
I have a
but
big
it
book
was.
called Why Everything You Thought You Knew About Medicine Is Wrong.
They straight up handed out heart attack serum. That's nuts.
I had a Czech girl literally
Poison
like
and
break up with
toxins
me
in our
over
bodies.
me shit talking her getting the vax.
Fucking Anthony Fauci.
Yeah.
No
I
invisible-
don't want to sit here and go on. Everyone fucking remembers this shit. I'm sure we don't need to be reminded that people were rewarded with fucking glazed donuts for fucking getting vaxxed or whatever, but dude.
Bro, I'm proudly unvaxxed. I'm unvaxxed. That's true, but
Let me
it's
come
gonna
in
get weird.
you! I'm unvaxxed!
yeah, basically.
It's gonna get weird with Israel. It's gonna get weird with China. It's gonna get weird with Russia. All these are things that are gonna like. There is so little difference between Biden and Trump. There is so fucking little difference. They're both pro-Israel.
Well, here's one
They
thing
both,
though.
You know,
We came to the conclusion today that getting a fucking meal at McDonald's is like $15, but when Trump was president, you could get 2 fish fillets for $5 and be satisfied. So there's that.
That's true.
that is
Yeah,
true.
Trump is better. Yeah.
Not
And Trump
inflation.
did pass
Yeah,
the
you
farm
fucked
bill.
the economy
Trump is-
completely.
Remember, the Trump is the farm bill.
Look, I
Yeah.
fucking hate Israel, but when shit's not popping off over there and shit's not popping off elsewhere, and like you just got a dude who's like, "Hey, let's just chill, everybody," and he just like calls
Let's just-
people whatever.
No, but I do agree with what you're saying, Jack, though. It's like, there is the economy bit, and there's like some merit to that the economy was way better under Trump. But I do think,
Yeah.
like, there are way more reasons for that than just Trump or Biden. There's countless
absolutely.
reasons. So you can't really just
A
pin
lot
that
of
on
it's
them.
just COVID.
95% of their platforms are basically identical.
Yeah, yeah. No, they're almost the same, and they kind of duked it out over China last time around. And you know, whatever your particular paradigm is, maybe Biden won over that, maybe he did not. But you know, but we're gonna see that all this shit play out again, and we're gonna see it playing out in a way where Trump, I think, has a much more interesting position. And Biden is basically like on the ropes with like, well, you're scared of what's going to happen if Trump's president again, so vote for me. That's like the only thing he really has going. Like, I mean, like if you really break down all the similarities between them, it's just like this idea that you should be afraid of Trump being president. Biden is a fucking Republican. Like Biden is a complete fucking conservative president. But it's like, you know, it's like, oh, but Trump, you know, he's gonna make you feel bad or whatever.
Biden will do speeches aimed towards like trans communities and
Right.
stuff. It's meaningless, but he'll
Yeah.
do that.
Trumping makes me feel good.
Biden's a lot more cringe, to be
And-
honest.
I don't want to. I think you're giving Trump a little bit too much credit here. I don't think there is like, even as bad as Biden has been, I don't think that is like much of a credit to Trump at all. Because on both sides, at the end of the day, what I see is that there's less energy for both of them. There's less energy on the Biden side for hating Trump, and there's less energy on Trump's side for giving a shit about Trump. So I feel like we're breaking even. And the main thing is whether they stole the election or not. I think it all comes down to Trump not being able to decisively win, because they can't steal it if he decisively wins.
Right.
That's what I've been saying. That's why he lost last time, is because he was so like milquetoast that he didn't fucking get a decisive base.
Whether or not he technically won or something is basically moot in a fucking country this goddamn corrupt. It can only happen if it's a clear and obvious thing that you can't contest. And that's how it was with Hillary.
Right.
My only prediction is that it's going to be a constant conflict.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, to me, the thing is that Trump is the symbol of the crisis, and like he isn't the crisis. He's blamed for the crisis. You know, it's not his fault. He just kind of rides the wave of it. And Biden's whole thing is basically this defensive, protective apparatus of like, America is great and we must defend America, and like this kind of protection against the crisis that doesn't really protect us against shit. It's just like we pretend like we're going to avoid the crisis by voting against Trump. And the reality is, it's like the crisis is just fucking here regardless. But Trump just kind of seems like he makes it happen faster. And that's what people are afraid of. He doesn't make it happen. Actually, I think it'll probably happen faster under Biden for certain. And like, it doesn't, most of the things involved, it doesn't really matter. Like automation is going to happen anyway. You know, like AI is going to happen anyway. Fucking the economy is going to fucking explode anyway. But it's like there are certain things that'll happen faster if Biden fucks it than if Trump kind of like seems like he's fucking it.
I think even if you support Trump, I feel like you can't help but admit that Trump is a symptom of the decline. That's the only way a figure like him could come in like a hero suddenly. And it's like, this isn't even to discredit him. I feel like even if you like totally support him, this is the way it is. That it took a cartoonish figure to come and wake everybody the fuck up.
It's literally what he said. He said, if things were right, I wouldn't be here right now. Yeah, that's what he said himself, and he's not. He wasn't wrong. Like I like Trump as a personality. I think I would never want to be around the dude. I think he's a disgusting human being, but he's entertaining as fuck. And he's over as fuck in my eyes. Like I don't care how you are in life.
He's a character.
I don't care what you do in your life. If you make me laugh on the TV, I can get down with you. I won't think you're a good person.
Yes,
remember him bullying
your standard.
But you get a lot of
you make me laugh on the TV.
I want to see you more often, and if I don't think that whatever you're gonna do is gonna affect my life, and my life has not been that greatly affected by presidency, except for Biden. My life's gotten a lot harder under Biden.
That's the thing.
Money got worth a lot less, and that sucks. That's not gonna make me go fucking re-register to vote. I'm never gonna vote again.
Okay, I'm sick of that shit.
Something now.
And
I'll say my 2 cents.
Yeah,
not even American.
That's what I'm gonna say. As a foreigner, one thing that's never discussed, almost never, I rarely hear it between the Americans, but that I found strange is what's the deal with the two-party system? Why do you only have two parties? The land of democracy.
By design. It's so to consolidate power between rich people. It's really that.
But
simple.
it gets sillier. It gets sillier though. How did this go? I feel like the Republicans were like they were the first of the two major parties to get big, and then there was an offshoot party called the Democratic Republicans, who eventually just cut Republican off of their name. And then it was the Democrats and the Republicans, and they were just the same fucking shit. God damn, dude.
There were the Whigs before that.
I mean, they also did like a shift where they swapped policies.
They kind of have three parties. I mean, Bernie was his own. Bernie's politics basically were to run like a third party. And the way the third party functions is to get people to join the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
It basically gets people who are out of the Democratic Party. Like people like me who were like, yeah, I would like some healthcare or whatever the fuck. And like, you know, and then basically it basically gets them to join the Democrat. Like it gets them to be like, Bernie then loses, and then he says like, oh well, if Biden doesn't win, or Hillary doesn't win, then fascism, then Hitler wins. And so you've got to vote for me, or you got to vote for Biden, or you're voting for Hitler. And he becomes a vehicle of Biden after he's lost. After Biden fucked everything for him and like cucks him, he basically becomes a tool of Biden. And then also Trump is running as a third party candidate right now. Like he's basically running against the Republican Party, and the whole Republican debate is completely irrelevant because Trump is killing them.
Yeah,
utterly.
I mean, but we're not talking. We're specifically not talking about political parties, though. Like these are like weird little civil wars within cabals that are seen as political parties.
You're right. Trump or Bernie.
Yeah.
Trump and Bernie are the two figures who could split from their parties right now and form a third party.
You're right.
And they never will because it's more strategic for them. It's more strategic for Trump to run against the Republican Party from within. And Bernie can't get fucking anywhere. So all he really does is just manipulate the Democratic Party to like kind of be social democratic when it's convenient for him and get him to sell books and shit. And he plays ball with them to get Biden elected. So
when you think about the progression of political parties in the US, it is very, very interesting because upon the foundation of our government, suddenly these parties started forming. And then you have like all of these quotes from founding fathers who are like, political parties are a poison. And then we went along and it became kind of poisonous. And then we looked around and we're like, there are too many political parties. What if we just had the two shittiest ones run everything? And we chose the worst solution possible. That's how I see it. Like we looked at it's ridiculous.
The two big factions that have the biggest power are like pro-corporate libertarian conservatives and like woke anti-racist Democrats. Those are the two, and those are the two least popular political factions in the country, but those are the two with the most clout in Washington.
Yes.
So it's completely against, what democracy is supposed to stand for. We could talk about democracy, whether or not that works or not, but this is not that. This is like some other bullshit that's completely. It's everything that Plato talked about, that like the mob rule. You just get the mob to believe the stupidest ideas, and they basically will do the stupidest things.
Yeah.
The whole idea behind political parties being poison is that if you're gonna elect a leader, right? Like I don't like the idea of voting in general, but I will voluntarily follow a leader that I respect. So I get that concept. So if you're going to elect a leader as a nation, it shouldn't be based on his association. It should be based on his merit. That's the whole idea of that. But because the idea of running for president is insane because you genuinely, there's an amount of money that you have to have in donations to even be able to get into the race, regardless of
and fame ultimately too.
But if you have a parliament or a senate, then parties are kind of unavoidable because how are you going to stop people from grouping together and agreeing with each other and forming unofficial parties? Then
the real crux of the issue in America is that everyone is so fucking divided. The political system is so goddamn antiquated. It's not built to deal with this. It's not built to deal with Los Angeles and New York City having like the same amount of people as the rest of the entire population of the country, and to be able to fuck, it's just not made for that sort of shit. It's not made for all of these different minority groups that to still have their way and everything. It's not built for that. It cannot do that. You can't. It just can't be done now. It sucks, but it's reality.
But I think the root, like the biggest problem is ideology. The biggest problem is like if I vote for Trump and I tell my liberal neighbors that, my liberal neighbors are not going to have me over for Thanksgiving dinner. And that kind of that basic kind of like tribal,
that same sort of a polarization is going on here as well.
A girl I met on Tinder is gonna get mad if I tell her that like I listen to Jordan Peterson or I fucking Jordan Peterson is cringe. Don't get me wrong, but like, I'm just saying, I'm like as an example. Like it's like if I express certain political beliefs, I'm gonna have social consequences for that.
And I
so basically society is policing me.
You're right.
Politically,
the idea is no community. Now the thing is, and I'm sure you've experienced this too at some point. I would use those situations where I kind of like slightly offend a girl on like a dating website or something. I would use that basically as an icebreaker.
Oh yeah,
and then I'd get laid with the fucking liberal girl, and she'd be listening to me.
you can navigate around these things. You can maneuver especially if you know what you're doing. You can get by in society in spite of the fact that you're technically an outsider from the doxa. But I'm saying that on a grand scale of like a pack mentality, like the weaker males or like the stupider males or people that can't adapt the same way, the easiest way to adapt is to basically accept what the rest of the tribe believes and fit in and blend in and basically don't act out. And if you're gonna have some sort of weird political theory, have the basic of that. Like, so this is the way that the leftist fucking thinks. How, if I'm reading Nietzsche, if I'm reading Plato, if I'm reading some philosopher, how does Nietzsche help the left? How does Plato help the left? The left is just this apparatus that is thinking for you, and all of your morality, all of your ideas of how the world is supposed to work are already predetermined by some shit that Karl Marx wrote hundreds of years ago. And anything new that you get is just reconfigured to fit into that apparatus. And as long as you've got people under that spell, it doesn't matter if you let them vote or not. In fact, it's actually worse for you if you let them vote, because that encourages them to buy into the ideology more, because they're important and they contribute to it.
Yeah.
But if you have a king, the king does the exact same fucking thing that the people do, which is enforce this doctrine, this dictatorship that is the ideology. It's like it doesn't matter if you let them vote or not. They're just going to do the same fucking thing.
Oh,
it's theocracy.
Yeah, but the thing is with the king that I will sit here and stand is that the king, he actually has stakes. He has the information in front of him. If he wanted to be responsible, he has stakes. And not only that, he has his own position that he has to guard. And he can do that justly if he wanted to. Right now, we're in a position where essentially the king is the almighty dollar. You know what I mean? And the dollar and the economics informs everything. Everything else be damned. Yeah,
he could be held accountable.
Exactly. We're at a point where it is these weird fucking corporate state structures, and it's like we can say it's like communism because now the state owns the corporations, or we could say it's fascism because the corporations own the state. But it turns out, no matter how the fuck that shit goes, it fucking sucks dick. And I think what we're left with is something that's like new and distinct from both of those things. Yeah, but takes all the worst parts of each. And then it uses essentially what is an AI algorithm as king. Totally ruthless.
Oh, the gangster computer god. Fuck.
It's a marriage of the worst aspects of revolt and the worst aspects of totalitarianism.
Yeah, we always get the worst.
That's what we got out of the French Revolution, is the worst aspects of what came before it and the worst aspects of what rebelled against that. But I would say that a king has... You know, they can say like, well, three lines, like my children's children are going to be fucked if I don't do something about this. Versus a president is basically going to be like, well, I'm going to be out of here in 4 years.
I'm moving to Israel.
Yeah.
Boy.
So I agree with you. But there's other problems. I mean, I understand why we got out of that system too. Like there were problems in that system too, But to a certain degree, we didn't really fix it. We just kind of created new problems by creating, Magna Carta and democracy.
I would like to share an idea here.
Sure.
I think people are too obsessed with systems and creating systems, but the systems are always run by humans. And if people have like good morals and are healthy, most systems could work kind of nicely, be that a king or a democracy. And if you have rotten people who only care about themselves and advancing their own careers, it's going to get corrupt and turn to shit.
Well, yes. I think that is basically the case no matter what centralized system you're using. Now, when I look at the trajectory of these governmental systems, when I see a king, I see what's the word I'm looking for?
It's easier to uphold the morals there.
But I'm seeing a lot of scarcity.
In a way,
scarcity.
Also.
People who need resources but don't have access to resources. And need somebody who is the lord of that land and can allocate the limited resources to the people who need
sovereign.
it. Now, as people became more affluent, I think resources became easier to come by via technology or whatever the fuck happened there. I think we didn't need that centralized figure of the king to be lord of the land and to allocate all of those things as much in our minds. So it led to the more democratic thing that we see today. But now we're at a point where all the scarcity is manufactured. There's no reason for people not to be able to get the resources, except that the people on top, the new kings, want more money. So it seems to me the logic here is that we have to get to the point where we accept that there is not scarcity and use the infrastructure and the capabilities we have to allocate like the resources in a not centralized but a more organic way. And I'm not sure what the answer to that is, because when you start to say that, it sounds like redistributing wealth in a very communist sense, but that's not what it is, because these ideas require all economics to be obsolete, the idea of money to be obsolete. This is not somewhere we're at, but I think this is kind of the struggle we have now, why we see capitalism so parasitic now, because we have all the resources everyone could ever want. We just can't get it to them because they're not grease in the right pockets. We're trying to figure that out right now. And it's going to take a long, long time.
I think the reason it's not, well, the combination. I agree with that. There's just a huge amount of corruption and greed, but also the machine that we have that gets, you know, all these restaurants full of these like banquet level, like, you know, food and everything, is completely based upon this idea that idiots are going to come in here and spend $35 a pop on brunch or whatever the fuck, and then we're going to waste everything that they don't buy. We're just going to throw it away. And if we were like, I'm coming from, this is like, I used to work at a restaurant that did do this. If we did just take all that wasted food and start giving it to homeless people, all of a sudden, like not all of a sudden, but gradually, basically it's like, oh, like these homeless people are getting the same food that these rich people are getting, and these middle class people that are you know barely able to afford going to brunch for that amount. And then the homeless shelter doesn't give them food that's as good as that. Yeah. So now, like, why are the rich spending all this money on that? And the machine that makes the food as good as it is paying the chefs, you know, the chef's salary and all the manager's salary, all that sort of stuff. If you take the value away from the food being scarce, from it being like hard to get food of that quality, all of a sudden you're no longer paying the chef's salary, you're no longer paying the manager's salary, all of that sort of stuff. And so the price, you've now dropped the value of it. All those people now have to go into a different market if they want to make the amount of money they were making. So like, and that's on a global scale. You've got that system working on all levels. So you would have to basically, we already are making enough food for everyone, absolutely, making enough good food for everyone, but we have to actually change the machinery of how we're getting it. This
is the issue of centralization, because at the end of the day, here's one point. You could essentially make seeds free, right? Just seeds to grow shit. But now people having access to free seeds doesn't solve their problems, because they also need the infrastructure to encourage and educate on how to go about doing this. Because this is decentralized. What's the word I'm looking for? This is how you eliminate scarcity from your own life specifically, is if you can gather all your own resources. That's not something you can ask of everybody right now. But at the same time, it wouldn't be too hard to create a society where people do that either. It would take a long time, but you could do that. You could teach kids. You could do this. But it's not good for the system. And these are the little things that are the decentralized aspects that make everybody as resourceful as anybody else, as capable of getting whatever quality they want, as good as anybody else. It's all up to them. And people could be provided with basic resources that are free that would help them do this. And like seeds are the most obvious one. It's easy to come by extra seeds that could just be given to people.
Monsanto's made it so that if you plant something and then one of their seeds fucking, you know, that's fucked. Those laws are fucked.
Yeah, so Monsanto has the patent on their GMO seeds. So if someone has a GMO Monsanto crop and it pollinates the organic crop across the street or whatever, now they can be sued for having these patented seeds that they didn't get licensed for or whatever.
Yeah.
Wait, they're gonna sue Sneed and Feed?
Yeah, that's what they're gonna
Who was
do.
selling
That's
Sneed?
why they went out of business. That's why
was
Chuck's
selling
went out of
Sneed?
business, dude.
That's why Chuck's
Yeah.
went out of business.
They got him.
Yeah, no,
Chuck's in federal
I
prison.
would be interested in trying to experiment with some of these ideas, though. I mean, I think I do think we're in a hopelessly capitalistic system that's like almost impossible to disentangle from that.
Well, at this point, they would provide you with the GMO Monsanto seeds, and they'd make you think it's free, but then they'd be like, you actually have to pay us $15 a month as this is growing.
Yeah,
your subscription fee for the
Yeah,
seeds.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
completely.
The seed section fee.
Oh Christ, that is
Also,
really
I
how
heard
it'd
that
be.
Bill Gates is the biggest single landowner in the United States.
Yeah, Bill Gates.
And
He's still
yeah,
not
well,
out.
Computer nerd.
I would be interested in kind of disentangling the whole thing you're saying about communism and fascism and all this stuff, because it's like it really does marry like the worst aspects of all these systems. Like to me the neo-Marxism that we're getting, like you've got all these kids now that like Osama bin Laden and whatever is anti-Israel or whatever. I mean, not necessarily whatever, but I'm not going to have a take on Israel, but basically like the communist aspect of things is this kind of hatred of capitalism, but acceptance that it's just going to win no matter what, which actually makes like institutions within capitalism that's only job is to make your life worse.
I hate capitalism, but I'm gonna fucking pay $35 for this Che Guevara t-shirt. At the end of the day, it's like that.
Well, like on a corporate level, that equals like, well, we can't get rid of capitalism, so let's get rid of like all the white men who work for us and like accuse it, or whatever the fuck. I mean, like, I'm not trying to make dog whistle, for whatever, but like, the way that anti-capitalism works within capitalist corporations in America is basically just creating more misery while like basically pretending to be against the system from within the system.
Yeah.
And
we already went over how it's not like there's like one guy who's like, it's like one Jewish trans person who's like, we need to get rid of all the white males. It's like, no, the system recognizes that white males who appreciate like family and tradition are bad for business.
Right.
It's that simple.
They don't buy new shoes. What is wrong with them? Buy new shoes.
Well, it's
They're
like
fancy.
it's okay to destroy middle American white communities because we need a revenge against the white population for slavery, genocide, colonialism, whatever it may be. And it's like, no, what about the fact that you're just like getting all these people addicted to fentanyl and just killing them and destroying their families and like destroying any possibility for
that is the revenge.
Reimagined crimes. Isn't that just inherently bad? And it's like, no, but they're white people, so they're bad, so it's okay to do it to them. And it's like, no, this is just what corporations are doing. It doesn't matter like who they're doing it to. It's just wrong in general. And it's like, oh no, but like fuck whiteies, so it's okay to do that basically.
This kind of makes me want to go into the Derek Chauvin stabbing in prison in Tucson. I don't want to. I'm not trying to rehash a whole fucking George Floyd thing here, but I think there is much more interesting things at play. When you hear that Derek Chauvin is stabbed in prison, who do you think did it?
A federal informant.
But who? The federal? Come on now. Who did everyone assume?
To stab him.
Everyone assumed it was just some black guy who stabbed him for revenge.
Yeah.
Then the picture comes out of the guy who stabbed him, and he is white. He is white. He is a white man. And you look at him and you're like, why would the Aryan Brotherhood stab Chauvin? Then you read the article. The dude's in the Mexican mafia. He is a white man. Then you look up who are the Mexican mafia's allies? Did they do this for the Bloods, the Crips? No, actually, the Mexican mafia hates all black gangs and black people in general, it would seem, if you read about them. So what the fuck is going on here? You know what I mean? But now the thing is, people will only remember the headline: Derek Chauvin stabbed in prison. And here's the thing: it will get all the right shit going for everybody. All the black people will be like, "Yeah, he deserved it. I'm glad a black guy did it." All the white people are like, "Oh man, I can't believe blacks are stabbing him in prison." It's a white guy the whole time. People will never remember that. And it doesn't make any sense. Someone paid him to do it. I don't understand. He said it was to commemorate Black Lives Matter by doing it on Black Friday.
and to represent the black
I'm
man.
confused.
What the
Show my
fuck?
screen. Have the guy.
Okay, we'll do.
The Raven.
People the truth.
The Raven did it.
This man.
His name, he has a white name.
I'm sure he's like half Hispanic or whatever, but come on now.
No way.
It's like a
Jose.
guy.
You know that's from right? Yak?
What's that?
It's from the show Barry.
Oh no.
The guy he's showing is from the show Barry. It's a
Barry?
character in the show.
Wait.
Very good.
No, this is the guy who stabbed
Never seen that.
Chauvin. What are you talking about?
He looks like a guy from a TV
That is
show.
an
And the TV made him laugh, so it's good. We like this guy now.
Is it not the guy who stabbed Derek Chauvin? What?
No, he just looks like another guy.
I thought we got this from the news.
It is. It is. No, Yak, he's saying that this guy is actually the stabber, but he looks like another guy.
Wait, are
Who
we
was very funny
doing a bit
on
right
TV.
Oh, I got the joke.
Are we doing a
This
bit?
guy made me
I don't know
laugh
what the
on
bit is
television.
anymore.
Therefore,
This guy,
It's
guy
a character on a TV
brings
show.
me joy.
But he stabbed Derek Chauvin. Why would he do that?
No,
Yeah, but
he's
he
a
looks like the
character.
funny guy from TV, so I
Why
like
would he
him.
do?
My brain has
Dude,
rotted.
yeah,
from
in Barry,
television.
the show Barry, he's like the fucking he's like a fucking special ops he hires Barry to assassinate people, but then he like goes to jail for like 15 years and he comes back and he like has he's made up this whole backstory about himself.
This
And
is
then
Wait, hold on. Is it literally this guy?
yeah,
No.
that's the character in
No.
the show. That's the character in the show Barry. Yeah, it's a good show. You should watch it.
It is. All right, so we fell for it. They got us. Who posted this? Dora,
This
probably.
is the Sam Hyde meme all
No.
over it.
Wait, whoa.
You got trolled, yeah.
Well,
You got
but
trolled,
I hold on, because I did read all of this on Wikipedia, though. The picture might be fake, but I'm pretty sure all the shit I said was true. Because I
Yeah.
just read all this shit.
This guy is
Well,
Ukraine.
this got embarrassing. I'm gonna.
Ukraine.
Hold on.
Damn.
Who stabbed Derek Chauvin? It's a murder mystery now.
52-year-old inmate. Symbolic to the Black Lives Matter.
No, he's
Black
white,
Pride-
dude.
Mexican
He looks like
Mafia.
him. No, he looks like that dude.
He's not.
He looks
Okay,
just
this
like
is
him.
actually the guy, though.
It's not him, but he looks like him. He looks like a more bird-like version of that guy. Like he's slightly more bird-like.
I was right.
And the guy,
Vindicated
He's white.
again.
he is white. He's like smile. He's all like happy, and he's like a jolly white man. He looks like Santa. The actual the actual stabber looks like Santa Claus. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're back on track.
So here's
So
I
yeah,
would
you're
never
right.
fall
Kind
for
of.
something like that.
Not him. But yeah.
I had nothing to do with the image. That was not my
John
doing.
Turskak.
This is the guy.
That's him.
Yeah.
It's a different
This
guy.
man right here. Arrest this man.
It's the same guy. I don't know. Yo, chat,
there's
fact
just a-
check me.
yeah.
I don't know what's happening anymore.
Wait. I found a completely different picture that does actually look more like a Mexican man. There's all kinds of
There's some fucking
I
psyop
thought he was
shit
white as
going on here.
we're fucked here. We're getting absolutely fucked here.
But it doesn't so much matter because he was Mexican Mafia, and that still doesn't make sense.
This looks more like a Mexican mafia guy.
Dude, this guy looks like this guy looks
Yeah,
so
well, that's
harmless.
Mexican Mafia. That's definitely a cholo, definitely.
That's not him. That is not him. That is just like that is the AI Mexican. It's not even
Brother, I've seen
They
two
just
white
generated
dudes
it.
and a Santa Claus looking dude. I've seen a white supremacist looking dude. I've seen straight up
We have no idea what's going on.
Who is John Turskak on Google? Turskak. That's him. It's
I know,
John
we're look-
Turskak.
I'm looking at this image fucking Google right now and I can't find a real photo. This is crazy.
Derek Chauvin was stabbed by a hologram. Like a Mexican hologram.
Mexican hologram.
Yo, I got that image too. This is straight up like a fucking AI.
What?
This is AI generated
Dude,
Mexican.
this is fucked. It only gets weirder.
This is getting weirder because like,
What if
he's in federal prison? We should be able to look on the Department of Justice website for him.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
Maybe
like,
there were
you think
multiple
if you're looking
stabbers.
up his
Multiple
name,
stabber
Oh.
theory.
you type in DOJ out.
E2 essay.
Oh yeah, found him on the DOJ.
Oh.
Oh, wait,
Yo, I don't believe any of these people stabbed Derek Chauvin.
God.
I think George Floyd did it, yo. I think George Floyd did it.
George Floyd goes.
Yeah.
George Floyd, but white.
George Floyd 2. This time, he's back for blood.
But yeah, like the idea that it's like just.
Is it this guy? Or this guy?
That's that guy.
That's
the other guy. He got us.
Those guys.
It's that guy.
What was the other guy?
He stabbed himself.
Jerry Seinfeld.
They don't show the guy. They don't show our guy.
Bro, it's so crazy that they wait. Hold
You
on.
have no idea what's happening, dude.
What?
This lesbian did it.
So this is interesting. This is interesting. I found the closest thing I could think of here.
Christ.
All right, check it out. If you look,
How do I do this, dude? How do I like? There's too many things happening. There's too many things. That guy.
this is an
Click
actual
him.
new.
Click that boy.
Oh man, I got.
When you click it, Arizona.
Wait, go back to the Google.
Hold on. Is he on this? Is he on the page here? Scroll down.
I clicked the page, and this is what it takes me to. That picture is not on this page.
What the fuck?
Can you go back to? Can you go back one?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Look.
Scroll up. Yeah, that guy. That's him.
Rob
No, this
Reiner?
isn't him. That's fake. That's
Rob Reiner.
That is not him.
That's Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner did it. He's in the Mexican mafia.
Rob Reiner's in the Mexican.
Is the AI Mexican?
All right. Hold up. Google Derek Chauvin Rule 34.
Oh no.
I'm gonna get my fucking finger ready on here, dude. Finger on the triggy.
Finger on the trigger.
Alright, we're safe. We're safe. Do you have safe search on or anything?
Sneed one. There's a Sneed one. Look, there's a Sneed.
Off.
The plot.
We're safe. We're good, dude. Whoa. Nothing bad, right? We're all good, dude. We're in the clear, baby.
We're in the Sneed.
Yup.
I don't know.
All I'm saying is this whole fucking thing is fishy.
So there we have it, viewers. Now we know exactly what happened.
Time for Work says you guys should look up David Oates for tons of reverse speech. That sounds like a good idea. Youper says Todd is right. I feel like all this shit is brainwashing and a distraction from just being a good person and enjoying day-to-day life. Also, I swear to God, after I buy Christmas gifts, I'm gonna buy me a shirt. Buy t-shirts in the description if you want to buy a shirt. I appreciate it regardless. Shirt.
You have any Che Guevara?
He says, I play songs backwards and they say I'm gay. Which band said that? Because if it's Judas Priest, that's like, well, they're going to say that about everybody, dude. They're projecting.
But Judas Priest is, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is it Rob Halford?
So, Youper says, I always randomly go back to how I think we are all just little electrons in a bigger system we aren't aware of. That's certainly true to some extent or another.
Yeah.
Todd says, should have voted harder. Maybe this time it'll work. We got Maddie out there says, what idiot thinks being nice to China was a good idea? None of them. And here, at this point, and it's like a weird question. It's not like I want to be nice to China. I just want to hate America as hard as possible.
That's it. I know what you must do. Start your own party.
I'll have a party, dude.
Skinwalker party.
Yeah, dude. Lemon party. Yo, politics got you sour? Vote Lemon Party. Lemonparty.org.
Lemon party? What is that? Let me check it up. Typing it in my computer
Type
now.
it in. You see what the fuck?
What?
Does it still play music?
Guys.
Can anyone confirm if
This
it
is
still
not a
plays
party.
music? Well, it's a party to somebody. There's only like 5 guys there, but they're having a good time.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Well, I'm glad I'm not aware of this particular internet.
You don't remember anything before 1996, so you weren't there for it. Yup. That was when things were good. We lived in a utopia back then. Every man had a raffle and a GF.
I remember the other famous ones. Fucking like a
Blue Waffle? Blue Waffle Party.
Yeah.
BlueWaffleParty.org, baby.
Oh, what's that? Let me check it out.
It's Hubgirl. Hubgirl.ai.
Trump should run on like giving everybody a GF. Like he's not gonna be like at this point. I think he should run on that.
Dude, honestly,
Andrew Yang's gonna run again, and it's gonna be giving everybody a state mandated GF.
Trump could. I do believe like. He could, like, if he ran on the platform, we're gonna make America cool again, and you do like the whole Chad thing, all the guys look, they're like decent looking guys, they all look cool, and you know how the fucking memes are, the white boy summer stuff, all that shit. But if you make it more explicit, and you're like, you will be a Chad, you'll be alpha, you'll be the guy if I can only win this. Like there would definitely be something behiing that.
I'm gonna invade Thailand. I'm gonna give everybody a GF from Thailand. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, man.
Just for the boys.
Thailand.
Those are reserved for the boomers.
You see a Mr. Beast video? You see a Mr. Beast video, and instead of it's like giving 5,000 incels their GF.
I mean, that's gonna in our lifetime. There's gonna be a politician who runs on that in our lifetime.
I don't know. Not in this climate. That's a little misogynistic for this climate.
It's gonna take a little while. It's gonna take a little while for it to happen. But like, yeah, give it 10 years. Give it 10 years.
I think to make things cool again. Fuck make America great again. Make America cool again. You know what I mean? If you could actually capture that, I'm not saying Trump could capture it, but there was like a point in time where like you can see what I'm talking about.
I think he did. I think Trump represents like retro, like the 80s nostalgia shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's like the dark, like unconscious of 80s nostalgia. Like he represents that for a lot of people.
He's got that dark vaporwave.
Because, dude, here's the thing.
Dark vaporwave. Yeah.
Everything is gay as fuck. If someone could just make it cool, that'd be great. And like at this point, we're not into like making like real promises. So if you just say that, like half the country's on board with it already. Just be cool.
Why
make
don't
things
you
cool.
put that on the hat? Make cool shit again.
Make cool shit again.
Well, the thing that he did, like, you know, we have a culture that constantly spits in your face and tells you you're a piece of shit for not like cutting your dick off or whatever the fuck they want you to do this week. And like he basically told them to fuck themselves. Like he told the culture to fuck itself. And the culture reacted, the media reacted, journalists and all this shit reacted to him, and now they're trying to fucking throw him in prison and everything. But yeah, like he kind of like to whatever degree he could do that in 2016, he kind of did run on. He kind of ran on like this is gay. He was basically the politician who was like, this is fucking gay, and I'm sick of it.
I want someone to use the word gay in a way that has nothing to do with homosexuality. Just say things are gay as hell. It has nothing to do with, you know what I mean? Like we did in the 90s. This shit was gay. I can call you Jewish and nobody says I'm hateful. Dude, things were good. Things are fun. You just call your homie Jewish and gay and like everyone would laugh. Nobody took it seriously.
Well, Trump would do that while also like giving Israel carte blanche to just take part of Syria. Like just take parts of Syria. Like he did that while he was president. He was just like, by the way,
and you're trying to say something. That's part of Israel. His microphone is too far away from his mouth.
But if he, dude, the thing is like, if he could bring back the culture where I can do some gay shit and my friends all high five over it. Do you know what I mean? Now if I do some gay shit, everyone's gonna think I'm gay. There was a time when I could just do some gay shit and everyone would be like, fuck yeah, bro, yeah!
One time I got so fucking shit-faced I whipped my cock out in the voice chat. Everybody cheered me on. Nobody called me.
Yeah, dude. It's not gay unless you make it gay. You can even call it gay and it's not even gay yet.
Hell yeah.
Oh, man. No, yeah, like, he needs to just have a Rammstein video. And then he just like comes out in the middle of a Rammstein video. It just says Trump 2024. Like he just
post from 2016, but it's like from his official campaign.
He should lose some weight as well.
I don't know. I think this is referring to Trump like this is all kind of a moot point. I do think the only chance he has is being locked up. Yeah, so I don't know.
Well, how did you get the Roy's in prison?
They control the courts.
Prison.
What
the whole judicial process
from president to inmate to president again?
Matter, like
he'll be
the
all
law
bugged.
does not matter at all. It's like the law is literally an apparatus of like judging. Like, did you say something fucking transphobic or whatever?
I also think these people who are in control of that are smart enough to know that prosecuting people is sometimes a bad idea for them.
They have no clue.
I don't but they don't. Why are they charging him with like you don't ever charge anybody with everything, and they charged him with fucking everything
because they had nothing. They had nothing.
Yeah.
They could throw everything they had at him, and it was fucking nothing. Unless he's actually incarcerated, it's irrelevant. It's totally irrelevant because as if what fine is gonna fucking matter to this guy? What fucking house arrest? Dude has all his meals cooked for him in the room over.
Yeah.
You know, in his mansion. None of this shit means anything unless he's incarcerated. Then it'll mean something to everybody.
What, they're gonna cut his balls off?
Yeah. They're gonna set him on fire.
They were gonna put him in a peach earlier, and now they're gonna castrate him. American politics.
Don't take his peaches.
So strange.
Yep. Anyway, let's go on to more fun content here, dude. Where do I want to begin? Here, I like this one. Intoxicated man wearing Bigfoot costume frightens trick-or-treaters, report says. An intoxicated man who was wearing a Bigfoot costume scared a group of trick-or-treaters in Rhode Island. It allegedly happened in Barrington. A resident called police around 6:30 p.m. after an intoxicated man wearing a Bigfoot costume joined in with a group of adults and children. The media outlet said the group did not know the man and felt uncomfortable with him there. Officers went to the scene and talked to members of the group. Police then called EMTs, who also responded to the scene. The EMTs transported Bigfoot to a hospital.
He was so shit-faced he had to go to the hospital?
What the fuck? Dude, I'm thinking with Bigfoot, it's similar to Native Americans, they don't handle their alcohol well.
Dude, that is such a funny, like, fucking with kids on Halloween is like, I mean, that's one thing, but dude, he's just like fucking.
The problem is if he did this,
can you imagine getting wasted and just joining a group of trick-or-treaters
with a bunch of kids hanging out? It'd be amazing.
It's like fucking join a group of trick-or-treaters and shit. He's like, Daddy, why is that old man following us?
He fucking takes a swig of Jaeger through his mask and it just drips everywhere. It gets nuns all over the costume, dude. Oh, it'd be so funny. I wish that was me.
How shit-faced you gotta be for the cops to somewhat take pity on? They're like, okay, it's Halloween. We can't really get them for scaring people, but we gotta do something.
Also, I would be kind of scared that it might actually be bigger.
I know, that's the worst part.
What if he passes you?
Imagine that if you're gonna tell him off.
What if he gives you the left Twix? Yeah, I don't know. Which is worse? Yeah. I actually thought this was a different story when I started to read it. I thought this was, I was seeing videos of this on Halloween where there was a dude in a Bigfoot costume who's like doing the bit where he sits by the door and when kids come up, he goes, "Ah!" and everybody shits their pants. Which I wanted to show that on Halloween, but I'm like, no, this is like too wholesome. But maybe it was him. You think that what's the deal with like standing on your porch to scare children on Halloween? Do you guys ever experience that? I used to live in the city. I lived in Philadelphia, and that was a pretty common occurrence.
I thought about doing that before, but like then I usually decide it's not worth the effort, so I don't.
Well, it's not worth the effort. Like here, I get maybe 2 trick-or-treaters, maybe. So it's definitely not worth it.
One. Yeah. Yeah.
We had people in the trees pop out of the trees and shit. That was something for real, like, cause like we got a lot of low in Florida. We got a lot of low bearing trees. You know what I mean? So it'd only be like fucking 6 feet off the ground, like a big branch that a grown man could sit on top of. And this is like 99 or whatever, and he's in like a fucking Scream, fucking Ghostface outfit, and he's fucking drunk as shit, and he hops out. He just watched Raw or whatever, and he hopped out of the fucking tree. Ready to scare some kids.
Yeah, I don't think I would do that shit these days. People are too skittish.
Those houses usually fucking take Halloween real serious, and they give the best or most candy.
Yeah, that's true. If you're gonna get your shit scared out of your body, then like at least get like a full candy bar out of it.
Yeah, they're cool about it.
Yo, I want an equal amount of chocolate as poop that came out of my butthole. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Open moment.
It's fair.
A good ratio to follow.
Yeah. Scar in the chat says Trump is funding Chris Chan's streams. To be honest, Donald Chandler. It might be true.
Unholy alliance.
Some sort of sick, twisted, parasitic capitalist funding Chris Chan, regardless. That's for sure.
It's Trump.
What if Trump gets into power and then he makes Chris Chan in his cabinet? What would Chris Chan be over?
He could replace Henry Kissinger.
Secretary of not having a GF.
He's going to be over the state-mandated GF program. That's what his role will be.
So let's check out a chilling New Jersey sighting of Bigfoot in the Pine Barrens, something closer to my neck of the woods. Check this out, dude. What up?
Let's see this.
Yeah, have you ever watched that Sopranos episode called The Pine Barrens?
Yeah,
I have.
It is. It's one of those things, and like Alb was talking about how like Europeans were pissed off about Napoleon. South Jersey nibbas were pissed off about the Pine Barrens episode of The Sopranos because you look at that, you're like, that's North Jersey. That's fucking North Jersey. I don't see a single fucking pine tree. There's no sand. There's too many hills. This shit is not the fucking Pine Barrens.
I just remember that he was an interior decorator. His house looked like shit.
Dude, that's like some of my favorite bit of TV.
It's great.
That episode.
That was the first episode I saw because all my friends were crazy about it. When we were kids, we were smoking weed in the Pine Barrens. That was the shit.
He killed 15 Czechoslovakians.
Yep.
He was an interior decorator. His house looked like shit.
I'm trying to figure out where this was. I don't. What the hell? What a hell? Let's check this out. Maybe I fucked up.
You know, David Chase later explained what happened to that Russian dude, by the way.
Ooh.
He got interviewed about it. He claimed that like the Boy Scouts found him and they eventually brought him back to like the Russians and like they like send him back to Russia basically. I don't know.
Is this Sopranos lore?
Yeah, this is like canon. Yeah, like David Chase.
I don't know enough about The Sopranos. It's been a while. I watched the whole thing a long time ago.
You woke up this morning.
All right, let me go on with this sighting. This is from Browns Mill, New Jersey, which is funny. That was actually the place to go to score weed when I was in high school. So I'm actually pretty familiar with this shit.
That's what they called it, Greensville.
So, way out in the woods in the New Jersey Pine Barrens, Dave and his wife, who didn't want to share her name, spotted something they couldn't explain. The woman claims she saw Bigfoot. Whatever this was had literally leapt across the entire road. It was about 6 feet tall, like a light-colored hair, like a deer. But it certainly wasn't a deer because it had its legs splayed and it almost looked like a ballerina leaping across the road. It did the George Costanza fairy jump. Oh man,
that's awesome,
dude. That's fucking gay. It was off-road near Browns Mills. She says she saw the man beast and the man beast. Saw a rhino in the rearview mirror. The man beast in the rearview mirror. She was always a skeptic, but no more. Like even to this day, she says like a lot. I'm trying to keep it out of it when I'm reading it, but it's making it more difficult. I'm still trying to process exactly what I saw. It's just hard for me to fathom, I guess you could say. They told Eric Spinner, and this is so funny to me. Immediately, the New Jersey representative for the National Bigfoot Field Research Organization displayed a Bigfoot footprint casting he said he found in New Jersey. Now, let's take a... This is all getting a little personal, honestly, but it's very fucking funny. Eric Spinner. I've met this guy. I've had a conversation with this guy. One time, I was quitting opiates. Horribly addicted to opiates. So I was trying to figure out like what I could take to like ease the dope sickness. The answers were like kratom, kava, stuff like that. Shit you can get at like health food stores and like the herbal thing and shit. There is like an herbal remedy shop not too far from me that I went to try to find some kava. I'd gotten the kratom already, but I'm like, I can probably get the kava locally. It's not too hard. So I go to this fucking like herbal remedies shop and they've got the kava, And I knew a lot about Bigfoot lore at the time. This was before any of the podcasting or anything, but I knew my lore pretty goddamn well. And I find out that the guy working the register is Eric Spinner, the representative for the fucking VFRO in my area. So I've had conversations with this guy about what herbs I need to take to quit dope. And he knew. Oh, he knew. We've talked briefly about Bigfoot. I don't think he said anything that was all that valuable. He told me about a sighting that he had, which was actually right around the corner from where I was living at the time, which was almost unbelievable to me because as rural as it is, there are like neighborhoods everywhere. Like you can go through woods, you can get into woods. When we were kids, we'd go into the woods, we'd hide, we'd smoke weed and shit. But there are neighborhoods on every fucking side of this place that he told me he saw Bigfoot. So I was very skeptical, but he is always the name that comes up in these reports that are from this area. So let me go on with this. It's Fox 29's Hank Flynn asked, do you consider this credible? So according to their story in Browns Mills. I do, for a couple of reasons. Not only is it uncommon for somebody to report seeing it in the rearview mirror, as she did, but also because they weren't out there looking for Bigfoot. They were just out enjoying a nice day in the woods with the dog. Four-wheeling, out in the woods, and this happened, Spinner explained. The pines offer food, water, and wilderness enough to hide in, the same traits as other places with reported sightings. The number of New Jersey sightings might be a surprise. Dozens of sightings over the years. There are reports that come into our website, into our database, that aren't even on our actual sighting database because they're either still being investigated or deemed as being either hoaxes or unreportable, Spinner said. They call it Big Red Eye in North Jersey. Some in South Jersey think they're seeing the Jersey Devil. Either way, the legend is alive and well. Dave's wife is skeptical, but seeing is believing.
No, if they were on their four-wheelers, but they were out with the dog.
They were not. I mean, that's not... he was talking about just driving around in the woods. Mudding, as they say, is kind of what he's referring to. They were in a car because they had the rear mirror and everything.
I do know about that mudding.
Mudding.
You ever go mudding?
Hell yeah, we go mudding. I'm not a mudding guy, to be honest. What I noticed about all the dudes who like to go mudding is that they really enjoy fixing their vehicles. I don't. I don't want to do that shit.
I like to go to other people's and like watch them wreck their.
Yeah, dude. Because when we come out of there, somebody's shit is fucked. Somebody's axle is fucked. Somebody's stuck in the mud for the next week. Fuck that shit. Not my car, dude. Fuck that.
I only went mudding when I was a kid with my dad's like redneck friends, and there was like a side pool of mud that all the kids were like playing in. And all I remember is like the next week I had like mite bites all over me.
Yeah, that shit. Chiggers around here is the problem. That happens.
Here it's mosquitoes.
Fucked up. Like my whole body, it looked like I had chicken pox from the neck down.
Yeah, that's probably chiggers essentially. More or less. Oh yeah, I don't know. Yep. I'm not actually sure. Yeah, here it's all dead leaves in the long grass. That's where you get fucked up. I've been covered with little fucking pus bubble sores from my toes to my fucking gooch.
Y'all got those big
cooch?
There, though.
Yes, my cooch.
Big ass fucking fat ticks.
Holy shit. The Lone Star ticks.
Yeah, those are those deer ticks.
Yeah, we don't.
The deer ticks are small. The Lone Star ticks are fat boys with the white dot on them. The deer ticks are worse. The Lone Star ticks are from Texas, so you should. But yeah, the deer ticks are the ones to look out for. They're the ones that give you Lyme disease. Fucking like 30%, like a third of people out here have Lyme disease because you're gonna get bit by like 5 ticks a summer, like guaranteed.
Quite a few ticks.
Same thing over here.
Really, you got ticks over? That's surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't have any predators though, do you?
We have deer and elk. And they like hibernate during winter. So
are there predators? There's no predators, right?
Wolves and bears.
You do have wolves and bears over there? They're over there. They're right now as we speak.
Yeah.
Shows what I know, dude.
Fuck me. Trying to get in.
The Lyme disease was made in the lab?
I've heard that.
I heard it's a military weapon.
To like basically fuck up the Vietnamese, I think like their food production or something. It was like, I don't know. It was some dumb idea, and they just like released it by accident, and then like fucked everyone.
Most people have no symptoms from it, from what I see.
Yeah,
you'll go your whole life without. You'll get fucked.
You can get Bell's palsy from that.
Yeah, you'll basically become retarded. Like that, you can become retarded.
Based?
I know a guy who lost who half of his face went numb, and he basically, it was like he had a stroke from it.
Some of the symptoms sound like Alzheimer's or something, where your mind is just deteriorating.
Yeah,
it's fucked up. It's fucked up. Like I said, I've met a lot of people with Lyme disease. I've met very few people who are actively suffering symptoms of it. But yeah, it can be very bad. They say terminal. Like when it's bad, I guess it's gonna kill you eventually. I guess the implication is that it's not gonna go. You're gonna have that till you die, and if it's affecting you, it's gonna affect you till you die.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you'll get fucking facial palsy and shit. Holy shit.
Yeah. That happened to the dude I know. Yeah, he half of his face just totally stopped moving, and it totally fucked up his face for a while, pretty much. Yeah.
Yep.
Wait. Bigfoot.
Yup.
We were talking about Bigfoot. Why was he dancing like a ballerina? What's gotten into this guy?
He did the George Costanza fairy jump. I wish I could. Can someone pull that up? Someone find that bit on YouTube for me, please, for the love of God, and share it with me. This is the actual. This is an interpretation or a recreation, a dramatization of the actual Bigfoot sighting. You got it? Come on, it's got to be readily available, right?
Here it is. Here, George Vertical Leap training shoes.
I don't think so. We need some Bigfoot Vertical Leap training shoes so I can really get the fucking hops I want, dude.
See, it's 33
No
seconds
barley,
long.
all hops, baby. Oh, let's see.
Was it a fairy or a ballet jump? I don't remember the bit.
Fairy was the word that was used. Maybe ballerina too. Oh man, I can't believe, because the thing is, showing this is just gonna get me fucked anyway. Probably they'll be like, these can't show Seinfeld. It's offensive to Jewish people. Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I'm not seeing it either. That's a bummer, dude. Everybody knows the bit I'm talking about, where he jumps like a fairy, and all the kids make fun of him.
Yeah.
How about this? Pull up the joke Chris Chan wrote for Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh yeah.
I want to show that.
I got that.
Let's do that.
I got you.
Yeah, show it. If he got it already, show it. Yeah,
here we go. Pause it real quick.
Hell yeah.
Share my
We'll watch
screen.
that.
This is one of my favorite videos. It's such a bizarre watch, and I don't even know why I like it, but I do a lot.
You got it ready?
I'm ready.
Alright, it's ready.
My apologies.
You're muted. It's muted.
Oh,
It's muted. Shit.
Oh shit, it's still muted.
God damn.
Yeah,
Double
so
mute.
I just recently been introduced to this autistic teenage boy here, and I was introduced, so he opened up to me right away, and then later at this picnic, this community picnic, I see over there, and he wants to meet himself a lady. So he's hanging out over there, and I don't see him talking to the lady. She's just smiling and being silent. I mean, it ain't gonna go anywhere unless you talk to the ladies. But then again, that's autism right there. He just tends to blank out when he's not introduced to the people because he is scared of the unknown. That's very common amongst the autistic people. And I'll tell you something else. You know, in today's society where everybody is glued to their computers and internet and all that, they're definitely closing themselves off from society. It's like they're becoming autistics themselves. And I mean, if they're not glued in front of a computer, they're definitely as blank as that
Oh,
wait, was that
amazing.
young Jerry Seinfeld?
Yep.
There's an AI thing.
It's so what's really funny is because it is from Chris Chan actually speaking, he's like, and then over there and like talking like
Turning
that,
them into autistics.
which I fucking love that shit. I don't even know, dude. I don't even know what to say other than hats off to you, Jerry Seinfeld, for making that young autistic boy's dreams come true. For some context, Chris Chan was writing that story about that teenage autistic boy when he was 28. He's still that adorable teenage boy in my mind, in all our minds.
Late bloomer.
Yeah. Oh shit, bro. Where were we? Where the fuck were we? West Yorkshire police overwhelmed by UFO reports as woman beamed into sky.
Fuck.
Oh,
it's not bad, right?
Okay.
Let me skip to the good shit here, dude. Let me. No, dude, you wish, brother. You wish. Freedom of Information Act figures average, which includes something yada yada, greater than just most recent official response. There is literally no article here. So take it with a grain of salt, folks. This lady was beamed into the sky. I had this article ready to go and I didn't screen it. There is nothing about this on here. Hold up. I'm going to full screen this and fuck everybody up. Maybe there is. Hold up. What the fuck? Are you serious? Dude, they literally headline articles like this now and don't put any information about that into it.
Yeah, it sucks.
Dude, this is fucked up. Why is it like this? Male caller reports seeing 4 flashing lights hovering above his property in the street before a female is beamed into the sky. That's the quote.
A female.
Who said that? Yes, a female, Povlak. Imagine.
Female.
That's so fucking weird. So, okay, of the 9 sightings disclosed, so this is talking about like FOIA documents. Reports included a woman who said said she was abducted by aliens, a man who said aliens had put drugs in his eyes. That's where they put the acid, bro. A woman alleged to have been attacked by aliens, and numerous reports of lights in the sky.
Didn't the Black Public Access alien Christianity guy say that UFOs put stuff in his eyes?
Probably. David Liebhardt says a lot of things. Honestly, what I think might be more interesting here is that I was actually looking at an interview with the woman who allegedly almost had her face stolen by Los Pelacaras in Peru. And she was talking about how like the aliens, when they got her, they put this fucking cream all over their hands and they rubbed it all over her face. There's no more information that I thought about bringing it up here, but like literally that's it. That's the information. So it's not like drugging and stuff is like, you know, out of the realm of alien discourse. It definitely is part of it.
Yeah.
I think all of this sort of thing is leading up to the point where instead of saying we found non-human biologics in a crashed UFO, they're going to say we found human biologics. Not implying that the pilot was human, but that there were body parts in there.
Oh, yeah.
Whether or not...
weaponized...
Yes. Whether or not that's true is up for debate, because these reports are out there already. There's been whistleblowers since the early 90s, including Bill Cooper, stating this. And all of the disclosure up to this point has followed that playbook to a T. So that would be the next step in their announcements, is that there were human body parts in a UFO. So I feel like a lot of these more, like I said, we've heard about these weird abduction cases and druggings and stuff like that, the weird machines, probes, yada yada. But we've never really heard the media substantiating that sort of thing until now. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
She had cream on her face?
This was the girl who was going to have her face stolen by Los Pelacaras in Peru. Yes. They creamed
Was there
her.
anything more?
But the aliens just rubbed their hands over her face?
They just put cream on her face.
Well, according to the story, is that they creamed her, and then the fucking villagers like rallied, and then a bunch of people like came to try to find her, and that's when they kind of fucked off, when the entire village was coming looking.
Oh, okay. So she got gangbanged, and then the village basically saw her, and she was like, "Oh, it's the fucking Los Pelotares."
But the thing is, she's not the only one who allegedly saw them. Like the tribal chief said that he shot one of them.
Roman Reigns shot a fucking alien?
Yes, the chief said he shot one of them, and they escaped with jetpacks.
Awesome.
Green Goblin.
The same ones that we had the video of?
No, there is no video of this. I mean, people have alleged that there's video of this shit, but it doesn't look to me at all to be what is described in the accounts.
Fucking jetpacking off from the...
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Is like, what the fuck is up with the jetpacks? Who has jetpacks? The official explanation is an illegal mining operation. Don't those guys go underground? Not like above ground?
Why?
If it's a mining operation and they're dressing up like aliens,
yeah,
it's like a Scooby-Doo.
It makes no goddamn sense. I've heard it alleged that this is part of a human trafficking thing, which it makes about as much sense as anything else. But yeah, I don't know.
They come in and
I have no clue what to think about this.
Away. What are you gonna do?
It makes no sense because like the at the end of the day, when I hear all these things, it's like these Peruvian people must want money or something. Like, I don't know what else to think, and I don't think that's right either. I don't think that's fair. But that is the conclusion I come to when I'm like, all right, Green Goblin showed up and was putting cream on people's faces.
It came to cream pie. Yeah.
I don't know what to think, and it's such a bizarre story.
That is weird, like for real.
I've heard from South America also that
How would aliens
like little
do it?
goblin things come from the forest and
yeah, lots of little people stories. Yeah.
So ma'am, you're saying that the aliens put the white substance on your face?
That's what they do.
They're like,
Gave you
about the interview.
That pearl necklace.
You're saying that the aliens put the white stuff all over you. It was the aliens that did it. Okay.
Yeah.
Save her.
I don't know.
Otherwise, they would have cut off her face.
I don't know. I feel like this is all part of the disclosure propaganda. They have the least reputable people on Earth, not because of like who they are or anything, just because that's what people are going to think. The least reputable people on Earth are going to allege something that can be easily denied at any fucking point, but will grab the entire world's attention. That's what self-disclosure is all about.
It's true.
Yeah.
Oldest trick in the book. He dressed up as an alien and come all over.
You come, dude.
That's what I did last
Sometimes you gotta come, bro.
I think we're past the set.
Do not come.
Do
not come.
I don't know, man. Maybe it was alien. Maybe it was. That would be the
I don't
1 in 1,000.
Another thing that's some shit that's hitting the fan here, which seems to be connected to David Gorsh, who we went over before. I brought him up where he was like in some YouTube documentary where he's like, yeah, I'm not as far as I know, I'm not a pawn in any weird game, any disclosure or anything like that. But who knows? It could be possible, is essentially what he said. I've showed you that before. Now all of this information is coming out about how there is a CIA department specifically for retrieval of downed UFOs. Not only that, but they're in some sort of tech war with China, who is doing the same thing. Is the allegation. It sounds like this comes right from David Gorsh. I've seen people kind of quoting him adjacent to it and stuff like that. I don't know that he's actually the guy who's credited with this information, but this is the stuff he was saying at the UAP hearing that was classified and he couldn't say at the time. And he said that he would try to figure out exactly how he could go about this, what is and isn't classified, how he can give more information. That's what this sounds like to me. And
I think that is the case. It's just like, you know, my cosmology, I think it's probably inner Earth beings or extra dimensional entities. But like, yeah, I think that we are like in some kind of weird spaceless race with China and you know, Russia and mainly China over, you know, technology that's coming from either deep within the ocean or deep within the ground. And we're all both lying that it's coming from space.
David Grush. What did I say? Gorsh? It's Grush. David Grush.
Gruesome.
That makes sense.
Yep.
That makes perfect sense. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, also psychic powers, all types of all the weird shit. Like, we're definitely trying to outdo China and Russia for all the weird shit.
Well,
and there have been talks about that since the Soviet Union about like psychic warfare and stuff.
Well, speaking of this stuff, I think this is directly relevant because my next article, the headline isn't this from the same shitty website that's not actually giving me real articles, but give it a shot here. UFO encountering people often develop extraordinary skills afterwards. People who claim to have had encounters with aliens went on to develop incredible artistic skills after their experience, according to a former U.S. Defense Department counterintelligence expert. I hate that. I hate saying that. It makes me feel fucking disgusting. One person, Luis Elizondo, claims... one person, Luis Elizondo claims, became a piano virtuoso without a single lesson. Other people supposedly develop a sixth sense that allows them to receive information via their brains that ordinary people do not have the extrasensory perception skills to comprehend. His claims come as another former U.S. intelligence official, David Grush, said that the United States, alongside Russia and China, is competing to harvest crashed UFOs. So he did say it outright. This process has been ongoing since the 1930s, with governments looking to reverse engineer the vehicles and to learn from the advanced technology.
This is literally coming from counterintelligence.
Yeah, this is psyops. They're telling you straight up, this is psyops.
Yeah, this is psyops. Like, counterintelligence is psyops. Like, counterintelligence is like, I'm going to go into your country and fuck with people's brains and make them believe things that are false. Like, that's literally what it is.
This is mind control.
We're doing counterintelligence on American citizens. Like, yeah. He's a specialist in counterintelligence. We can trust him as a source. Like, what?
Yeah, right?
What?
Because he has a really official sounding name, he's like a good source when he's clearly a trained liar.
Yo, he probably made up the story about the girl getting gangbanged and like
maybe.
Put cream on her.
Maybe.
I attribute this to counterintelligence, dude. They're trying to implant sexual imagery into the fucking masses.
He probably stabbed Derek Chauvin.
Yeah, he probably stabbed Derek Chauvin.
To confuse us.
Bro. It was all a counterintelligence.
So Grush, who earlier this year testified in front of Congress about his knowledge of the U.S. government reverse engineering alien craft for decades, also revealed that up to 30 UFOs have been recovered. Meanwhile, at least 10 alien pilots are in the possession of humans. Elizondo investigated the UFOs as part of the U.S. government's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program launched in 2007. So this really, to me, is all leading up to them saying there are body parts in the crafts. There's body parts in the crafts. There's body parts in the crafts. Really, the key here is don't panic, though, dude. There's been body parts in the crafts. It's the same shit every day. It's fine. It's normal. Standard.
What if it's all made up? Project Bluebeam style.
I mean, I think that's very, very possible. I think it's very possible that this is all fucking fake. That this is all weird mind control stuff, the psychic experiments, the technology. It's all shit that they have, but they don't want you to know they have, but they know you will see at some point.
Yeah. Like if you say an alien to somebody, they know what you're talking about because it's such a pop culture thing.
Well, that brings me to another point. I had a video. Let me see.
Who invented that?
Let me see if I actually have this thing on tap.
Put down in making alien films. Back in the 50s, they had movies about Martians invading and stuff.
That is true.
I have this one video about a Brazilian dude. Let me see if I can.
How many is a Brazilian?
Here we go. Oh man, it's George W. Bush, bro.
One Brazilian dudes.
Okay, I do have this video. This is actually really interesting. So let's pull this up. Let's do this. Hold up. Smoke weed every day.
That's right.
All right, so this needs some context, actually. I forgot. It's been a while. I meant to play this a long time ago. So these dudes have a Brazilian tribesperson on their podcast or whatever. And they show him a picture of a gray alien.
E alienígena não tem.
He doesn't know what alien means.
Essa palavra você nunca ouviu falar?
Never heard this word, alien? No. Then they show him a picture of a gray alien. He's like, oh, this is the Myoshibu, dude. This is literally Myoshibu. For real, dude.
Right.
Myoshibu.
Isso aqui?
Sim. Mancunawabu.
That's him.
Sério?
Serious? Really?
Mancunawabu. Mancunawabu é que mora debaixo da
One who
terra.
lives underground.
Que se virou
That became an ant, and we call it Una.
formiga hoje que nós chamamos Una, que é uma formiga
A big ant.
grande, chama-se Mancunawabu.
Mancunawabu.
Que essa formiga também é muito perigoso, né?
Very
Porque se a
dangerous
pessoa
ant.
ficar mexendo com ela demais, ela leva o espírito da pessoa.
It will take the
ela vai
person's
da
spirit
terra.
underground if they mess
Pra
with it.
voltar tem que ser um pajé bem bom.
Need a good
São
shaman.
seres que pode aparecer em luz divina, com a luz do Nishipan.
Can appear in divine light.
São
I don't know what
seres
that
que
means.
a gente pode ter o contato, que moram
You can
debaixo da
contact them,
terra.
they live underground. That's what he says. So, I mean, that sort of thing corroborates exactly what you were saying.
Yeah, no, and also I was thinking of the guy, who was the deep underground military bases guy who like knew fucking Bill Cooper?
Phil Schneider?
Phil Schneider, like Phil Schneider's whole thing, like Phil Schneider, I don't think he ever talked about UFOs in like the sense, the traditional sense of UFOs. He talked about deep underground military bases and that like
he seemed to imply reverse engineering, but that doesn't mean space.
Right, and they talk about going and exploring deep underground and then running into these fucking reptilian aliens that are like that live underground. They don't live in fucking space; they live underground. And that's also a hallmark to me of like most of the lore that I know, that I like kind of at least like can basically make the leap into believing, is like it's not there's 100 different races of grays and blah blah blah. It's like I ran into one of these things deep underground. I don't know what the fuck it was, and it like fucking blew my hand off, and now I don't have a hand. Like,
He got one of them. He killed one of them.
Like,
bro.
it's not Al Buelik and all those motherfuckers and all their weird shit, or they have like a whole fucking Marvel universe. Like the guy who talked about the fucking the reptilian that Sid Drano or whatever the fuck.
Yep.
Like all that sort of shit, you know, it just gets too fucking involved, and like it becomes a whole novel, whole sci-fi novel. I mean, I would say there's something to that too in a sense, but
and you can make that claim about Phil Schneider, but like you said, he's missing his hand.
Yeah.
Account for his
And,
hand.
like,
Where's his hand?
He died also.
Yeah.
He was like hung with this fucking catheter and shit.
Yeah.
Like it's just weird. Like he's just lived a weird ass life, died a weird ass way, and did shit that makes sense to like, you know, how I think this shit is put together. But yeah, like it's. I think we know way less about it than a lot of UFO people think that they do, because we've been misled into all this shit about grays and space and shit, and like it's really beings underground, and we really know like practically nothing about them really.
Yeah, I think that's possible.
Like ants, they live like ants underground. These Indians claim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you wonder exactly what that's referring to. Is it
Like
referring
ants,
to
like
their
a whole bunch
social
of them?
structure? Yeah, well, exactly. Is it their social structure? Is it like the tunnels they live in? Is it the way
have
they
a queen,
look?
like an alien.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't know, because there's such a cultural divide there. You don't know what their perception of ants are compared to ours. Like, I don't know. I don't
Also,
know.
I would like to help our audio listeners if we have those. These are proper Indians here. Traditional clothing. One guy
Well,
has like
they're
100
dressed like
Indians on
Indians.
his
I don't
head.
know what that means these days, but yeah.
The best
That
way
is the
I
most
could describe
Indian
them
man I've
is
ever seen in my life. That is
what it looks like.
Indian as
So
fuck.
in the Ahmadi religion, the Ahmadi religion of peace and light that I've been covering for a while, there where the Antichrist Dajjal series kind of ended up for me.
Yeah.
When the guy who wrote the book, The Goal of the Wise, the New Testament, essentially the New Testament, he met the Mehdi, like a messianic type figure, an end times figure. I shouldn't say messianic because Jesus is still part of it, but an end times figure in Islam. He met the Mehdi apparently, like in like Iraq or Lebanon or Egypt or some crap like that. And the Mehdi told him that there are ant people that live underground on Mars and they're Christians.
That's right. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
It's awesome.
What does the Christianity have to do with it? What does the Christianity have to do with anything?
Well, I think the implication was that they're people of the book. They're decent.
Okay.
I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know. Why do they butt rape people in like fucking ground chips?
I wouldn't do it, but they seem to think it's just fine.
I don't
it's
know.
not that easy to
I don't
follow
know.
your teachings.
That's how they say
to the point.
hello in their culture.
Play back,
I think
Black Betty.
if Kay was here, he would probably talk about the Nagas and all that shit.
That's true.
And I feel the need to obligatorily mention the Darrow, these things that are kidnapping your daughter and raping her underground.
Never good.
For fun. Yeah, that's their thing, though. They do that. It's, you can't yuck somebody's yum. That's just their fetish or whatever. Like, that's,
Never knock a fetish because your fetishes are as sick as anybody's and you know it. Maybe not anybody, but look, dude.
That's just how the aliens say hello. That's how they abduct you and they probe. That's so triggering.
Black Betty, baby lamb, whoa, Black Betty. So with that, thank you very much for joining us here in another edition of Skinwalker Gang Streaming. Thank you guys for being on the panel also. So
Wait, I have one final question.
Yeah.
I am more confused than we started. Who the fuck stabbed Derek Chauvin?
Me. I fucking did it. I did it for George fucking Floyd.
It was obviously Sam Hyde. It obviously Sam Hyde. Sam Heidelberg. Samuel Heidelberg was the murderer.
Heidelberg.
Do you think the song Black Betty is about, like, it's like a signal to kill Derek Chauvin in prison? Bam, 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 bam. Is that what you guys think this is? Every time Black Betty plays, George Floyd rides again, dude. So, thank you. If you love us, send us money, buy t-shirts, whatever the fuck. I'm trying to split it up here, but look, we got $1. I'll try to split that 5 ways or whatever. We'll give it a whirl. We'll give it a whirl. Thank you, everybody, for your support. I love it. Here's the thing, dude. $1? I like $1. I will never say no to $1. But if you tell me you want me streaming regularly, that means a lot to me. Whoop whoop, motherfuckers. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Got a kilowatt, man. Bam, bam.